What's up, everybody? This is George Medina, aka The Dreamer, aka Get Your Meds. I just want to take this time out to say that I'm very thankful for everything that 2021 has given me, which is my family, my friends, their health. I wanted to thank everybody who supported our Kickstarters this year. I want to thank all the subscribers to our channel over at Catch the Craze. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of the indies that came on and shared their stories with us on the channel, as well as the guys that you're watching right now, Nerds of the Round. Thank you guys so much. I'm very thankful for all of it. Thank you guys so much, and happy, happy, happy New Year. Peace.
If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Still bopping. Still bopping. I can play it again. You want me to play it again?
It's early in the extra long episode to take you out. It's too early. It's too early. It's too early. What's up, people? It is Tuesday. It is Nerds Night.
What's going on?
What we thought was going to be our season finale, but it is not.
So, a grave error on our part was thinking, like, yeah, this week is going to be our season finale, when, in fact, we would be leaving it with one episode of Hawkeye left, which is ludicrous on our part.
I blame Disney. It's Disney's fault. There you go.
Yeah, so we will be back on. We will be back on Tuesday. We will be discussing the season finale of Hawkeye. We're also moving our Witcher discussion to next week because none of our guests finished fucking watching it.
Don't drag everybody under the bus on that one. Shame. It's like getting in trouble. It's like getting in trouble in school. Like, one friend got in trouble, so everyone has to get in trouble.
All right. To be honest, 2 out of our 3 guests didn't finish watching it. Alex has already said that he does not care. So,
there you go.
So, it is what it is. We will table our Witcher discussion to next week when we discuss Hawkeye, and we may dabble in Matrix. I don't know. I think that can wait.
I want to talk about it.
Depending on how good it is.
By the way,
I say that if it's
good
so,
I feel like good or bad, we should talk about it.
We're still going to talk about it. We're still going to talk about it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Anyway. So
come on.
so our season finale will be after the Christmas, but before New Year's. And then the next day after our last episode on Tuesday, we will all be blessed with a New Year's Christmas gift, 3 Kings, whatever you celebrate, of the premiere of the Book of Fett, which is very exciting. So. Anyway, Seabass, go do your things for your announcements. George, what is up? Thank you for the cameo. We appreciate it. I was not expecting your mug to show up on the screen.
Yes, it was very nice.
Yes. So I gotta give a what's up earlier. I gotta give a shout out to George because George definitely answered the call. So I put out there it's for people to send us videos of thank you for the New Year's and everything. And George was the first one on the call, so I wanted to play that as a big shout out to George Medina. Make sure you guys are checking him out on Catch the Craze. Check out his book Wonder Dog. Check out Russ. Russ. George, what is the number? Put that up there. It is on Webtoons, Russ. Come on. I keep forgetting the number 5047 or something like that 5077.
Stop it.
He's gonna kill me for that one.
Stop Mike Jones in it, man. Stop trying to throw his numbers out there.
You can reach George Medina at 347. No, I give a big shout out because George definitely answered the call with that, so I wanted to play it as the beginning of this video.
5377.
There we go, 5377.
You know how you can remember it?
It's his date of birth. There you go.
Yeah, he said that in our interview. Listen, I wasn't gonna say nothing.
I'm one Austin in, and I'm already fucked.
I was just gonna let you
Listen, don't let me slide. Don't let me slide. Hit it with the savagery. Anyway, so thank you again, George. We have one for also Miriam too, who we helped out with at BeyondCon. So definitely we'll play that one later. But yeah, the announcements is just as follows. We want you guys to have a happy holidays. We hope you guys are enjoying the holidays. Had a great Thanksgiving. Having a Merry Christmas, having a happy Hanukkah, having a happy Kwanzaa, anything that you celebrate, we want you guys to have happy holidays. Check out the Medusa's Cascade podcast. The Medusa's Cascade podcast dropping every Saturday. It is still continuing. It is still going. We are each doing our intros for the show. So you're hearing our friendly favorite voices introing the show. Check out Law. He is doing his Twitch streaming by Towels by Law. If you're not following him, I don't know who else you should be following.
I just had a wild ass stream before this stream. Tuesday's a busy day for me, but I announced there that a week early, so this upcoming Saturday, I'm launching my Discord server. So I'll have links and all that stuff that we can have, and you guys can come join the madness that is my server currently.
We were the test subjects.
Yes,
yeah,
we were.
Yeah, we were. We were the lab rats.
Yep. I said it. I said you guys are gonna be the test guys, the betas, and then we're gonna have the full on launch New Year's Day. But because everyone's been so good and wholesome and things have just been going well, I feel like I'm gonna give a mood.
Well,
launch this bitch early.
Let's launch. Let's now get our guests out after they got a nice scolding from Professor Tone.
I love all of you equally.
So first thing first, we're gonna bring out our.
If that's good or not.
Well, first thing first, we're gonna bring out our resident couch bum who has a space on episode 4. He has joined us for episode 5 as an awesome show that comes on Twitch every Friday. He is the one, the only, the awesome Mighty Pong.
Oh,
thank you.
What is up?
And everybody in between.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back.
That's right. Every Monday and Friday. Mondays and Fridays we do project streams. We put stuff together. We take stuff apart. We blow stuff up. Put it back together. It's good stuff.
Nice.
I'll tell you more about it at the end of the show. But yeah, it's good to join you guys again.
You know what I need to do? I need to go on your stream when I'm fixing a kid's broken fucking toy, man.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing.
Do it. Like seriously, next time you're doing that, if it's on a Friday or Saturday night, give me a shot. You're on
camera.
instantly.
Yeah, it's a wrap, man.
I'll pour a cocktail and I'll be bitching about it the whole time.
There you go.
I mean,
next on the list, coming out from the roster, he comes over from Comics Cast. You get to see him every Sunday, sweating, trying to draw all the time, keep up with the guests because he's interviewing, drawing, and I'm always giving him shit in the chat for it because we love him. He's awesome. He always gets to come on, talk Marvel shows with us, takes out the time of day with us and all that. And he's wearing an awesome shirt. Look, we're twins, and I'm doing the hat. He's doing the shirt. Give it up for the one, the only, Jerel Motos.
Oh man, I'm putting my head in shame. I'm one of the guys who didn't finish The Witcher.
You're at least watching it.
Right.
I'm not even watching it.
Yeah. I'm the recipient of Tone's wrath. He pretty much said, "So you didn't watch The Witcher? Shame! He's like shaking the bell. It was like Game of Thrones all over again. It's like shame. But anyway, I'm so happy to be here. Merry Christmas to the nerds. You guys are by far my favorite podcast group. You guys are the Three Musketeers. Love you guys, and I'm so happy to be here.
There you go.
Aras loves that shirt.
And finally, so we scoured the internet for a Christmas creature to come on the show. We were walking the streets of New York. We looked through a few boxes on the corner. We found him.
We know the vibe of the show.
We found him smuggling beer.
We didn't even find him in New York. We found him on Turnpike, Jersey.
There we go. Give it up for the one, the only, 1/3 of the awesome Wayward Raven stream team, the Christmas creature, Alex Sapountzis, aka Tony number 2.
And I love only about 40% of you. Well, and just for the record, I am so not interested in The Witcher that I'm using the game disc as a coaster. So,
wow, that game is really good.
Wow,
really good, man.
I'm just trolling. I just have no bandwidth for another show. I'm still working with Arcane.
The Witcher 3, man. The Witcher 3
Jerel
is
with the best shirt, Vic
game.
said, and then
thanks, Vic.
Arelis is loving the beard ornaments.
Oh yes.
Well, what's going on,
who needs
guys?
a Christmas tree when you got Alex? That's all you got to say.
I am the spirit of Christmas.
Alex is taking care of it for all of us.
That's right.
The ghost of drunken past.
This is why I'm hydrating.
Oh my god.
So
this is amazing.
Let's deep dive.
Also, Jerel, because next week's the finale, and usually you reserve for the finale spot, you're going to be back next week.
You know what? If I can arrange my travel plans to be here back Tuesday, I will confirm with you guys. I'd love to be there.
It's an open invite.
If I don't get into trouble this episode, and you guys say Jerel's no longer allowed on any Nerds broadcast, then yes, I will try my best to be there. But I just want to let everybody know we are officially my compatriots to the left and right of me. We are officially known as the Nerds of the Round B team. So you know.
Oh, wait. Let's give it.
Here we go.
Oh,
So,
there we go.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Alex. Let's start the show.
Nice.
I don't know which one of us can rap though. You can't rap.
Steady wants to know what we're slandering, and Steady, we are
I can probably do maracas in my beard.
we're apparently slandering. You should get Nitsa in on this because
There's no we.
Alex.
There's no we. Don't put we. It is one individual
Okay,
that is
all right.
slandering
So,
the Witcher
so
3.
I'll put him on blast. This man right here has been slandering The Witcher since he came on the show, refused to watch the show, and he said that he's using the game as a coaster.
He's an uncooperative guest. He didn't watch The Witcher. He didn't watch the bootleg version of Spider-Man. Like, why the fuck are you here?
Yeah, you guys know Alex is probably the biggest Henry Cavill fan. He's just like, you know what? I'm gonna say it here, but
I do have
no
Chrono Trigger, motherfucker. Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, we're 11 minutes in and the shenanigans are
Right.
We're changing up.
What the fuck do you expect?
We're changing up the format. So next week we'll go Witcher, but we're gonna go Hawkeye and then Spider-Man after because this has been Marvel's week. Actually, it's been really
It's been fucking wild.
It's still going.
Oh
like,
yeah.
like you were saying, like next week we got the last episode of the series of Hawkeye, and then right after that they turn. Well, that's not really Marvel. That's more
It's
just
Disney. Disney
but they
right now
turn
is just
around.
like
Disney just prints money.
yeah.
Like they just generate currency for the country. like
kinda.
So how do we?
Let me just see. Like, where can we play Find the Disney in the background? Right.
Copyright. So how do we all feel about this opening? I mean, this was a pretty dope opening of how Elena experienced the blip. Who wants to go first with this one? Go ahead. Let's throw it.
I'm a voluntold people, and I'm a put Pong on the seat because that's how I feel today.
All right, that works. No, I absolutely loved it. That was so in WandaVision, we did get to see Monica Rambeau come back.
Yep.
But we didn't get to see but we didn't get to see it from her point of view. And this was the first time that we were able to see it from the character's point of view. They still have not yet answered one burning question that I've had ever since the blip got unblipped. What about airplane pilots?
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
I heard they did answer that though. I heard they arrived. They were like on the ground. It wasn't like people just dropping them off, middle of the sky. But I think that's kind of a hand wavy thing too.
Well,
yeah.
I think what if they just dropped them back in, like, let's say they dropped them back in the same plane that they were on, wherever that plane may be.
I don't think that works that way.
No, it's wherever wherever the spot is.
Well, look, they weren't like just gone and reappeared. It was reality reformed around them. So there's enough like magic in it where they're like it'll put because
magic.
Well, think about it this way: the Earth rotates around the sun and around the galaxy. They could have just popped up in the middle of space.
Yeah, because it's not exactly it's not exactly 5 years to the time. It's just 5 random ass years with a random ass date.
4 years in like 6 months. Well, who knows, right?
But could you imagine that Marvel movie, a show that you're explaining people falling out the sky?
No, I want to see what happens to the guy who's in the shower. And then they got rid of the bathroom.
There's a lot of uncomfortable events that happen that you get blipped back into.
Yes.
We'll just leave it. We'll leave it there.
You're in the middle of a murder. You're in the middle of like cheating on a spouse. Like shit happens, and you just get blipped. Like what happens when you come back?
Using the bathroom.
Yo, mid deuce. Oh, that'd be terrible.
Yep.
Talking about something that came up from a 2019 movie. Anyway,
I don't know how this is an SNL skit.
Back to Yelena coming back and seeing a version of the blip in a way we haven't seen in the regards of reality morphing itself back. Because when Monica Rambeau came back, we just saw her kind of particleize back on the chair in the hospital, but hospitals never fucking changed. So we don't really see anything. It's kind of like those baby blankets that everyone's been swallowed in. It doesn't matter what year you're born. But with Yelena, like she throws water in her face, dusts, comes back, and then you just see like the paint chipping away. Everything is just shifting around her while the universe is like, oh shit, like we have to figure out what we're gonna do with her. And I think it was like one of the best ways to show the blip visually, because showing it in Spider-Man 2, like everyone just kind of popping up, like that was just like a funny gag of how they did it. Whereas the TV shows are taking a more serious tone of everybody really coming back and what that
traumatic experience.
That traumatic experience is, especially for Yelena. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but for her, she gets blipped after having this adventure with Black Widow, and like having that relationship with her. And I'm sure like doing this job, I'm probably going to give her some updates about what's happening. And then she comes back. She's like, all right, I got to go call my sister. I'm like, about that. It's been 5 years and your sister died.
Do you guys think that she knew like the person that she was talking to? Do you think she knew?
I don't know, because like that's the thing that's been bugging me a lot about like these MCU shows. Like people know all these details that almost like they were there, but like how do you find out some like super spy got killed off on an alien planet?
Right.
How does an average
person... that I don't think they don't know the details of how she died. They just know that she died for the greater good of bringing everybody back.
There's a bigger question here. It's like, how the heck did they name a Broadway musical after Steve Rogers' quote when he never said it on camera to like the public? It was like him fighting a villain and whatever, and like, hey, we're gonna do a whole Broadway musical, which is funny. I just thought that was kind of weird too. I can do this all day.
I'm assuming Stark had a lot of PR people who probably had notes and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Or also like think about it. Like Steve Rogers, we're going back to a fucking 2012 movie. Good God, guys. Like think about when in the alleyway and he's fighting those guys and he's like, I could do this all day. And it's like, in today's day and age, if you sleep with a famous person, you're gonna write a fucking book. Steve Rogers becomes Captain America. It's like, I fought that guy when he was a skinny little shit, and this is what he said to me.
Well, that guy's probably dead by the time Steve came back.
He was actually probably they were probably in the fine print. He was the playwright for that musical. He got his butt kicked by Steve Rogers back in the day and said, you know what, I'm gonna go write Broadway musicals. And then flash forward to post blip. He said, I'm going to capitalize
years later
on
or
this
something?
guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's 100.
The ultimate revenge.
That's a deep cut right there, man.
Right?
It's my life's work. I've been grooming my children to be playwrights in a time that we can talk about Steve Rogers.
Grandpa can't talk about getting beat up in with a trash can by some skinny guy.
So George said she never told her about that Black Widow is dead. That she did. So when she got out, she just said that it's been 5 years. I think she found out afterwards, and then they cut right to the next thing after she said she wants to call her sister. But
but I would assume
if she did tell her sister, she's another Black Widow. So I wouldn't be surprised if like the Black Widows at least had enough like contact with each other to be like, hey, this one,
So I'm gonna hit you. Yeah. I'm gonna hit you all with a great question, and I want whoever wants to weigh in on this one. So we know that before Yelena is blipped, she's with another Black Widow to go rescue a Black Widow who was already freed from the mind control. So there's confirmation that Black Widows were free from the mind control and doing their thing because she was making her thing as an assassin. She gets blipped back in, and this former assassin is a mother, married. So it leaves the question, what happened, or where are all the other Black Widows? What does that do for now the name of Taskmaster? Like, where do we go from there? Like, because now we know that some widows were blipped and some widows weren't. How does this now play into the MCU?
It's a franchise.
I'm about to say that's a Disney Plus show, The Red Room, coming fall 2022.
I'm just asking.
There you go.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
It's going to be the Black Widow Social Club.
Yeah.
They all get together for tea and, crumpets. And they said, you know what? Who are we going to assassinate today?
So that's why we're getting a new Sex and the City movie. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Sex in the City.
I'll tell you what I thought was super weird was that even though she's settled down with a kid, with a husband and kid and blah blah blah, she's still working. She's still like, yeah, we can start you out on some contract stuff. You know, if you sell a couple units, then the next person under you gets a cut of the people you kill. You know, like
I mean, you think about it, you come back after the blip. There's so many, you know, like what we saw in Captain and Falcon, Captain and Winter Soldier. There's so many splinter governments and groups and people who they consider bad guys. Like it's an assassin's paradise now.
Yeah,
like you can just start killing off splinter groups. So
it's gonna be.
Steady wants to know why you're very excited about Sex and the City, Seabass.
It's just nice tie-in. There you go, HBO.
Who's your favorite character?
HBO has nothing to do with Marvel.
That's right.
I thought that you caught me. I was about to be like, I thought it was going to be too early, but you know.
Oh man.
Okay, here's a thought. You guys are talking about like a spin-off series, and they already hinted at it with Captain America and the Winter Soldier. They introduced.
No, not you. This.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Go.
I was gonna say they could do a new series called Mandrapore, and it could be all those little factions that are vying for things. You could get, even though I hate what they did to Sharon Carter, she has her own little thing going on now. You got the Widows doing their own thing now. You got like Valerie doing the Dark Avengers thing. You know, we could do, and it's all, you know, women power. You know, these are like, it could be Mandrapore. You know,
Mandrapore.
Or F-Force. I don't know what the word is.
Well, if you really think about it, for the MCU, because there's what you notice what they've been doing with a lot of characters, they've been taking some backstories from some characters and working them in there. So the whole thing with Sharon Carter, that she wasn't blipped and make her, and it's like, instead of having to introduce this whole dynamic of a power broker, it kind of makes it harder for when Sam or Bucky finds out that she's the power broker. So it's like, it's kind of affecting that relationship. I know some people didn't like that writing, but I kind of see, because it's like, think about how people were affected by this episode. That's what I'm saying. Like, how did this affect the widows, the person who had the name of the Taskmaster? Is that person training other people? Are they, did they give the mantle to another person to be Taskmaster? Do we have widows as being someone else? And we don't know. And that's why there's going to be a lot more storytelling.
Widows might not be good ladies.
Yeah,
you know? They're assassins. So
just because they're free now doesn't mean
they can be whoever the hell
right.
they want.
Once they're free, they have like really no obligation to anyone.
But I do think they probably will. They will touch on it. It seems like all these movies and shows are just giving them like so much room to add more flavor to the characters and to the background, and just to make it all come together in the end, you know, in the next 10-year cycle. So
I don't know. It could just go off and do its own thing. Like there could theoretically, like I would love to see an MCU crime series, you know, and it actually, of all the things, it probably could tie to S.H.I.E.L.D. because that's going to be the legal drama, you know? Well,
you know what I was hoping to see in that same vein is Damage Control.
Yeah,
I thought that they were going to bring that in after Star Wars.
We've
Spider-Man Homecoming.
on the show that's one of the shows that like would make the most sense,
Yeah.
especially
I
all
remember
things
they were
considered.
talking about it, like doing something with it, but I can't remember what happened with that afterwards.
Well,
I
They
think that
were-
was on-
good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jerel.
oh, they did bring him back. We'll talk about.
We'll talk about, but Damage Control. Damage Control has been.
Let's park Damage Control.
Yeah,
to
we'll park
hour
Damage
2.
Control.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
All
Damage Control, though, just to touch up on them, they have been brought back in the MCU in various other forms in the movies because that's
Homecoming.
who I believe who was in the what was it, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, Homecoming.
Vulture.
Yeah, Homecoming. Yeah,
Jarrell literally just said it.
They were there. And
Listen to your guests.
That's why Vultured.
yeah,
but I'm talking about like as far as a series, like a Damage Control series, like that would go in and explain all of that stuff, like how it looked from the ground level.
Again, like I think for a show like She-Hulk would be a good avenue for that because it's street level. You know, it's
also
like,
too Jimmy Woo. Let's get some Jimmy Woo. Give him a show.
Listen, I'm here for a Jimmy Woo.
So I had a friend talking to me about this, and he's under the impression that there is like an Agents of Atlas coming, which I think is like, you know, like a full Asian cast. So he would perfectly fit for that with like Shang-Chi, or so that's an option. Like I'm personally waiting for like, you know, them to have like a full Asian Avengers, like with like bringing in Silk and a few other people, you know, maybe like recast Iron Fist.
No, they're gonna Feige already confirmed he's gonna recast.
If they bring
Iron
back
Fist.
Iron Fist, like, or if they're gonna bring it, just use what's her name, the girl who ended up inheriting his powers.
Is it Ming-Na Wen? No.
No, not
No.
I'm drawing a blank on her
I
name.
feel
Colleen Wing, the actress who played Colleen Wing.
Yeah.
They could just bring Colleen Wing into the MCU. She could do the fight stuff. She can act, you know. So she'd be awesome. Or the other option is, like, I know in the comics now, the new Iron Fist is Asian, so they could just say, you know, Danny. Like, I honestly think that the thing they should probably do with Iron Fist is, like, have Danny Rand be like the Hank Pym for the new Iron Fist. Like, he's like passing the torch. So you'll have like the fanboys who are like, Danny Rand is Iron Fist. Okay, well, he's passing the torch to someone who's less problematic.
But it makes sense, because then it also tells it builds on the Marvel history for the MCU, because they did that with Ant-Man when they were like Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne were Ant-Man and Wasp during their time when he was experimenting with it, and when she got lost, that's when he quit. So with them to do that, if they were to bring in Iron Fist, and Kevin Feige already confirmed he would recast the role for Iron Fist. And so, but going back to Hawkeye, let's go with the whole Kate Bishop, Yelena girls' night out scene. Just them talking. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Tone. Yes,
I wasn't gonna say it.
So Yelena.
Every time, I don't even have to say nothing.
I
don't need my face to say nothing. I just look for Tone.
I did it.
Fuck is Yolanda?
Yolanda.
Yelena. There you go, Yolanda. Listen,
Jeez.
Florence Pugh.
Yolanda Vega bringing it back. Old school.
Yep. If you know, you know.
Yeah,
so like Bishop in the back with a chocolate. Instead of mac and cheese, she got mangoo in that pot.
I got that reference.
Oh my god.
So Jerel.
Anyway,
we're never gonna get through this.
Anyway,
this is why we're doing a 4-hour episode today.
Anyway, no. So that scene, like that whole dialogue was just chef's kiss. That's what I wanted between the two of them, and what I want to see grow into their relationship moving forward into the MCU. It was like everything I needed. I didn't, there's no exposition, no nothing. She's just there, and she's just, I know everything about you, and I'm here just to talk.
Yeah,
and it was dope. Like, I knew we were all excited for Florence Pugh to come back and be back in the MCU after her movie, but just it came back in a way that I wasn't expecting, and we were just kind of all hoping for, and they brought it. The two of them in that scene brought it, and I'm just really excited to see what they do in the future, because they're here to stay.
Their chemistry, chef's kiss. But the confidence of Yelena, and then the like uncertainty of Kate was so good, because like you're gonna see that eventually become, all right, I'm confident, but I also can build this trust with you to be my friend or partner, whatever they decide to do with those two. But with Kate, that weird like I'm uncertain and whatever will become more certainty with her in the future. I'm hoping.
Well,
Jerel, tagged.
Yeah, Yolanda is so awesome. I'm just getting back and Sebastian has always given me like total crap. So I wanted to bring that back up again. But Yolanda,
when Jules tells her to be cool and she's all crying and stuff, like she's just so that was Yolanda was great in that scene, just wonderful. When she reaches in and gets the wallet with the bad mother.
On a serious note, Florence Pugh, she looked hot, man. I like her new hairstyle. She's very fashionable, and I love her dialogue where she was like going, "Okay, I don't have any like weapons on me in my hand. Well, maybe I do have something on my hand." It's like I just like
that whole process was amazing.
Yeah, the dialogue was really good. I like how they spent that time. That's the beauty of doing episodes versus a movie, because you can have this moment where characters can be introduced to themselves, and when they get introduced to themselves, to their counterparts, you can get to see what that kind of chemistry is going to be like. And it'd be awesome if there was going to be a Black Widow and Hawkeye, the part 2, and you could see that relationship already forming there. And I tell you, I wanted to get some mac and cheese and hot sauce after, watching that whole sequence. I mean, I just have to say that, whoever wrote the screenplay for that, brilliant. It was a nice way to bridge characters, have them interact with each other, and keep it street level. And, Yelena, she did that whole sequence where she doesn't go out the door. She goes out the window. I mean, and then she does it even in the Black Widow style. She doesn't go jump forward. She just does the Ghost in the Shell style.
Yeah. Adios.
Backward,
I have a huge problem with that scene. Do you notice? Actually, two things of note there. The first is, did you notice that her tether that she attaches, it doesn't tighten?
I know. I saw that too. But I gave it a pass.
Just have somebody pull it. That's all you need.
And then how does she undo the tether after she falls out the window? It's like they don't really
just leave it there.
It's disposable.
She has multiple tethers.
She's got money from Val. It don't matter. She just gets a new one.
It's like Spider-Man's webbing. It dissolves in 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, what I really love, what I love about this though, it's like it's their version of Budapest, right? Like they're gonna tell this story, and Kate and Yelena will have their own version of it. And Kate will be like, "You remember when you broke into my house and I thought you were gonna kill me?" And she's like, "I wasn't gonna kill you."
You're so silly.
She's like, I wasn't gonna kill you.
That's the other thing that I have a problem with though in that scene, because she's an assassin. This is her job. She's like, what she's doing that entire scene is feeling out Kate to figure out what she thinks about Hawkeye and why she's not, why she's fighting to defend this guy. Are you a threat? Yeah.
But notice this in that whole scene, which I thought was very, very dope in explaining the dynamics between the two characters, was that how Elena was using. I'm gonna say that. Don't worry. She was using Kate Bishop's name.
Wrong?
Yes. Shut up. It's the Bronx. No, she kept on going. She kept referring to Kate in her full name. She kept referring to Kate in her full name. It was like Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop. Yeah. Again, so and he kind of was telling Kate like, yeah, no, if you do it, I could fucking kill you, like, But it was a very beautiful scene. Alex, I want you to talk about this thing. Go ahead, my Christmas creature.
Okay, so Sebastian Bonet. What I was originally going to say was like, this is the arc of Kate Bishop was always interesting to me, because like at the start she thought she had that invincibility of youth. Like she didn't think, like, she's like, yeah, I'm a badass, I've got like a 4th degree black belt and like 2 martial arts, I can whatever. This is the first time she realized that the person across the table from her was truly dangerous. Like she thought, like, okay, Hawkeye, he's a badass. He's a superhero. He's not gonna hurt. Nothing bad's gonna happen to me. This is the first time she really realized she was at the mercy of someone who could kill her and not even think anything of it. And I think this also reflects that like she's a good person. Like, because if she was a bad assassin, she would have just murked her right there. So like that's yes. Somebody mute, please. Throw me.
Oh well, there was no money involved. Maybe that was it. It's like there's no money involved with it. And I think that it was. I understand it. I totally get it, because you see Kate's character progression. She's come back down to reality, and I like how they do it where it's like the Matt Murdock style. Like when they get in fights, they actually get bruises. They actually get cuts. Yeah. There's that whole sequence where like Hawkeye is tending to Kate's wounds, and then of course her mom is doing that too. So you're showing more vulnerability. These are street level characters. They're not like enhanced super soldiers or Asgardian gods. They get hurt. You see Hawkeye limping around and putting frozen margarita mixes on his aching joints and stuff like that.
Exactly.
No, and I like it that it's the bodega margarita mixers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is that the best? Is that the top shelf?
No.
It
just gets the job done.
It's a different shelf entirely.
Right.
You don't even need to mix it.
It's not even it's a fucking rack.
It's a rack. It's
a
spinning rack that you just pick it up.
It's like boxed wine, right?
Box wine is a little
Steady
bougier.
says under the bottom shelf.
There you go.
Listen. I like box wine. You slap the bag, you have a good day.
There you go.
Go, Jerel.
I don't know. Usually when I no, yeah, that's too far. Go on.
Oh my God, we are off to a great start, guys.
Oh,
This has
man.
been amazing.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Anyway,
Kazi. Let's talk about this. The schmuck Kazi.
well,
and what
before
he
we go to
did.
Kazi, we should definitely talk about Yelena's like motivations and like her saying of like, what does an Avenger even mean?
Yeah.
I think like that's her whole motivation to be like, it doesn't it's fucking comments, man.
wait. Look at that viewing. I love our viewers. I love all of them.
Oh man. Colt 45.
Let's just start talking about oldie, you know.
Oh my God.
Old English. All right. Anyway,
Oh my
serious
God.
note.
Cap
God,
looked like
man.
he'll get down with some King Cobra and Colt 45. I'm telling you right now.
No,
man.
Cap is all about the blue ribbon beer, because patriotic.
It's okay. Now I'm jumping in. It's PBR and a shot. Remember, it's both. It is both.
No. Yes.
All right, it's both.
Fucking high five to Tone.
You don't drink PBR unless you're getting that shot of Jack Daniels on the side. All right, that's how it goes.
Oh wow.
I just want you to guys know that this is all coming from the guy who doesn't drink. I have like zero. That's why I
This is
said,
amazing.
I was like, oh, is that like top shelf? It's like, no, it's not top shelf. This is the guy that would put like ice in his beer or something like that. I am totally not the guy you want to talk to.
Tone, it's okay.
Yeah, I guess no.
just get rid of
No. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
his
yeah.
fault.
No. There's no shame. There's no shame.
him.
There's no
Don't
shame.
shame him.
Oh, okay.
There's no
all right.
shame.
We love you,
Jerel, I will protect you at all costs.
Listen.
That's okay. You know what?
Listen,
When
you
I
make
come see
you mix
guys-
you mix juices and soda and you have a good ass
Yeah.
time. You get that sugar high. You'll be good to
Right.
go.
Hey,
That's right. And you know what? When I see you guys, I will be your designated driver. That's all you.
There you go.
That's
There
my-
you go.
that's my
That's a
role.
superhero power right there.
That just
Not
hurts.
all heroes wear capes. Some have keys.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, back to Hawkeye.
Back to all. That's really packaging.
I'm turning off this freeway of nonsense and we're going back.
I don't know, man. Good luck.
All right, and we're going back to what does an Avenger even fucking mean? All right, because clearly this whole entire show and everything about the MCU and everything we've seen from these people is idolizing these heroes. From the LARPers, from the memorials, from even the fucking Hamilton musical. Like, it's all about idolizing these characters. And Yelena's coming in from like, no.
Yep.
No. It doesn't, no matter what you did, you still need to, you still did what you did, and you still need to take responsibility for your actions. Now, I think she's
accountable.
She's ill-informed of what happened with Natasha, obviously, and she will get that revelation, and what she does with that information, I'm assuming she will take it and be good with it because we like her as the new Black Widow,
Alex,
Not saying some of
Alex,
us are
you're
down
muted,
bad,
Alex.
but some of us are down bad.
So
Obviously.
I got a question for you based on what you were bringing up. How many? Let's count. How many Avengers don't have blood on their hands? Scott Lang.
But what are we? Okay, but when we say Avengers, though, are we talking about like new Avengers or the OG Avengers?
Well, let's leave it to like the core Avengers from.
Because we got our 5 white guys and a lady. Like, that's it.
Well, think about those 5 white guys. Like all of them, pretty much, except for like maybe like again Scott Lang and T'Challa don't really have blood on their hands.
Yeah, Black Panther never killed nobody.
Yeah, exactly. He
never. That's not true. He killed Killmonger.
Oh, you're right.
That's not true.
It was in combat. It was like the heroes.
I don't think he killed him to kill him. I think self-defense.
Which Avenger doesn't have red in their ledger? Is what you're
Right.
saying.
That's the question I'm asking. And that's I think what Yelena was pointing out. Yeah. But he's got a lot of blood on there too.
Yeah, no, I think it's
blood.
I think it's definitely
Technically-
something. But like Hawkeye, like
Don't-
I,
Yeah,
I know
Stark.
where you're going,
Stark
Steve.
does.
What
I was
is
gonna
it?
say. I was gonna say.
Hold on.
I was gonna say Stark, but technically he does because he was responsible for Ultron.
Yeah.
He was.
Sokovia.
Yeah, Sokovia.
Stark
Because
is,
I was like,
what
because
about
like
the wars that gave him
Yeah.
the money?
there you go. Yep.
I mean, that's
Let's build
capitalism.
hospitals.
That's
Vic-
U.S.
Vic said-
capitalism
Spider-Man,
at its
yeah.
finest.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Spider-Man would be that, but I'm not counting Spider-Man as like
Trapped
one of
in
the
white or trapped in green. Or what about that gray too? How did we get to Hulk?
I don't know. God, I'm really
What's
trying.
happening?
I'm really trying to
Stark
steer
used
us
to be an
here,
arms
guys.
dealer.
But like
Good luck.
the bumps,
You got
the bumps are happening. The bumps are happening.
It's all
No, I think with all these other heroes, I think with Hawkeye, because he's so ground level, he's only just a human. He doesn't have financial backing, scientific backing. He's not a fucking alien.
He's out of arrows.
He's out of arrows. You know, he doesn't have his hookup. It really, I feel like it just falls down to him. Like he's the only one and he's also like the only one around now. That you're gonna touch. You're not gonna touch Tony's legacy at this point. He's dead and he saved the fucking universe. You're not gonna touch Captain America's legacy, though. You know, Captain America's
On the
pretty
moon,
much
you know?
immaculate at this point. You're not gonna touch Black Widow because everyone knows she sacrificed herself. Thor's a god and probably a sex symbol in the MCU. And you're not gonna touch Hulk because Hulk contributed to Hulk smash, but Hulk contributed to what he did for for the bringing everybody back.
Does what or is what Natasha did enough to clear her ledger?
Well, you got to remember that. Let's go back. I'm gonna take you way back. Let's go back to
Back into time.
let's go to back into time. Let's go back to Winter Soldier, because if you go back to Winter Soldier, remember Robert Alexander Pierce? He sort of said, "Hey, when you release those files revealing Hydra's involvement, your file's going to be out there too." So I think either they totally forgot that her history is out there on the web, like her red file, because now she's, after Infinity War, she became a fugitive, of course, and the whole thing. So I think humans as a species, we just sort of like we were forgiving, and when you're involved with saving the world, it's kind of like, hey, we can overlook that. But to follow up on what Tone said, I like think about the mentality of an Avenger, and does that excuse you from doing things that are questionable? I like the deconstruction. I like that there's a deconstruction of what it means to be a hero. I think that's really cool because everything that was when they set up the Avengers movie in 2012, it's like all of a sudden we got these an alien and World War II guy that got defrosted. You got like Black Ops shield agents, and you got a crazy gamma irradiated Hulk that are out there. But it's everybody just sort of said, hey, that's a hero. And you see Kate looking at that that shaped her whole world. And then you get deconstructed. This is what I like about it. It's like, yeah, here we get a point where you get to see it from the street level and it gets broken down. And what does it mean to be a hero? And my takeaway from it, it's your point of view. It's your point of view. It's the Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was true from a certain point of view type of things. And that's what I love. This is great storytelling. I like seeing all perspectives.
Yeah.
I do want to point something out
Well
there.
said.
That so the last time we saw Hulk was in Shang-Chi, right? And Shang-Chi
Post-credit scene.
post-credit scene, he wasn't Professor Hulk. So it's like, where's his story going with that? And again, it's like what you say, like what it is to be Avenger. It's like Kate. What I like about this Hawkeye series and what we're learning about Kate, she's seeing it from a fan level. She's seeing it from a fan level, and what she's experiencing now with meeting, Florence Pugh's character with going with Hawk. Yeah, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with that. We're going with Hawkeye. With
2
Clint.
points to Alex for that one.
Listen. 3 points for Gryffindor. Let's go.
Slytherin. No.
Christmas tree.
No. It's like this. It's like she's learning that these heroes are flawed. They're very, very flawed. And no, Dave, thank you. I see it.
Don't worry, I got comments. Don't worry.
But no, it's like you're learning more and more about their flaws because and that's the beautiful part about it. They sacrifice so much to try to do the right thing, and yet it's like, you know, there's just all this other stuff that they did. Like when she finds out when Clint, and he reveals that he's the Ronin. And you can see it kind of shook Kate, but she still believes in him because he's trying to do good. And it's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful storytelling in each part. And it's like seeing these characters, like that first phase was that light phase, and then over the years you just start going darker, you start falling apart, but they were still doing what they needed to do. Even when they fought against each other on opposite sides in Civil War, they were still like, you know what, we're still needing to do what we believe is right. It's like similar to the Harry Potter series. When you saw the first movie, when you get to that last movie, it started from light to dark, but they still had to do what was right.
So really quick, what I really like about this whole Kate Bishop thing, and it's literally our journeys of watching this fucking movie series of this universe. We've been watching this since 2007, and you look at all these characters and you think about how immaculate and amazing they are, and we see the Avengers. Her turning point, her entire shift happens in Avengers 2012. God damn it. Every time I have these moments, some bullshit comes up. I love it. And you know, everyone here remembers what happened when they watched Avengers in the theater. Everyone.
Yeah.
I like, you know what you were doing, you know what theater you went to, you know who you were with. And then from there, we just went through all of these adventures with him and realizing, like, seeing what they've all gone through and seeing the decisions that they made travel 10 years into the future. And I think Kate is really going through the same thing we as fans have gone through. And I think it's just really cool to see our own perspective in a character on screen played, and then going through the highs and lows of meeting your heroes, which is an awesome reason probably why they named the first episode Don't Meet Your Heroes. And I think they're capturing it so well because we're all just in it, and we've been just participating in it. And it's like the same thing in our own history and human history. You look at these great deeds that people have done in history, and then you start to analyze everything they've done. Does it take away from the fact that they're heroes? Does it excuse everything that they've done? But we can have those discussions now, and I think that's what's happening in the MCU. That's what's happening with Yelena and Kate, and we're all just in it together. And I think this show has put that all together in a way that I don't think we've gotten before.
That's a super good point, because, like, in a way, the exact opposite will happen too. You'll have somebody who's in politics is just the worst, and then, you know, a couple years after they get out of office or they stop doing whatever position they were doing or whatever, they go on Ellen and everything's forgiven and everything's fine. And they dance and, you know, they paint stuff now. It's fine. You know?
Yeah.
Kissinger's adorable. Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah, we got two new hashtags. Hashtag We Are Kate. And the other hashtag was hashtag Thanos was right. You know, it's like
don't Thanos was right, because I guarantee if Steady's still here, he's gonna be here for it.
Thank you, George. Yes, you could.
Did I buy that mug? I don't know.
See, I knew it. Steady's already here.
So let's get into Kazi. Alex, talk to me about Kazi. How did you feel about this fucking schmuck and finding out that he's the one who set up pretty much Maya's dad?
Also, I mean, did you suss him out from early?
I mean, granted, I read the Matt Fraction book, and once I realized who he was, I knew he was not a good guy. So I like it was like, oh no. Anyway,
Steady on his Thanos was always right. Not you too, Tone.
But,
you know I'm a Thanos stan, bro. Come on. I have the shirt. I love Thanos.
I mean, like, you know, you probably didn't think about the logistics of stuff of, you know, of everything, but yeah, sure.
Hey, listen, it's efficient.
Is
It's
it?
efficient.
Is
It's
it though?
efficient. It's efficient until we get to supply chains and like everyone. And then you get repopulating and everyone's screwing and doing all their thing, and then he comes back and like, oh, I gotta go find the stones again.
Supply chain,
Yeah.
supply chain. Oh man,
Yo,
I like that. I like that
episode is
weave.
chaos.
And that's where damage control comes in.
We've lost all hope here. No, we didn't.
All right.
Yeah,
Kazi.
was obviously the backstabber. There was a point though where I was wondering if maybe somebody else took on the Ronin persona to frame him, but afterwards I was like, okay, it makes sense. This was just once it played out the way it was. But yeah, Kazi was definitely like, I was like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Jerel?
If it's not the guy, that's just a huge misdirection that they're doing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the guy.
The Kingpin knew where the Kingpin loaded a gun.
Let's
where
talk
to aim
about the
the gun.
Kingpin for a second, because we didn't see that coming.
Well, let's say this: we know that the Kingpin wasn't blipped because this all happened during the blip.
And that's a very important distinction on like
Oh.
like where we are in terms of like if this is the same one from the Netflix timeline or if this is a variant.
But
Well,
if they
assuming it is tied with the Netflix in some way, think about how his escalation, like he capitalized on the incident, the Battle of New York, and now he's capitalizing on the blip. So that would be an interesting story in and of itself. Just seeing the rise of the Kingpin during these horrible moments.
So what about this? Do you think he was involved with Adrian Toomes?
could
Because
be.
Adrian Toomes was the Vulture was
Mhm.
Yeah.
But-
So
he was
he's
supplying
on the
he was-
underground
Yeah,
on the
he was
underground side
supplying.
of thing, making a lot of money.
Mhm.
Nice
That
house.
actually would be a nice lead in for Adrian to come back when they do bring back the Vulture.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
In the comics, it was always like if there was something shady going on, Kingpin had to wet his beak in some way, even if it wasn't directly. Like I to me, my favorite thing was in Ultimate Spider-Man when like Kingpin made Spider-Man toys, and he was cashing in on Spider-Man's fame.
Yeah.
That's brilliant right there.
Opportunist, supreme opportunist.
Yeah,
Let's be real. Kingpin is a staple Spider-Man, Daredevil villain, street level villain. The fact that we're getting him on Hawkeye is doing something where it's establishing the street level of Marvel's threats, because Marvel, like as you see in this phase, we got the galactic threats through internals. We're getting the multiverse threats with all the shows that we've seen come out with Loki, What If, and then Doctor Strange coming out. We have the international big incident threats, which we're going to most likely see with Cap going forward. And now we're getting the street level stuff being introduced with Hawkeye, with them bringing in Kingpin. And you can bring in some of that. You could bring in some of that Netflix stuff and kind of explain it that this was stuff that happened before the blip. What happened during and after with these characters and everything. And again, that could be a segue to explain how Iron Fist passes the mantle, where Jessica Jones is, where Luke Cage
is.
this is all this stuff. But Jerel, give us your thoughts on the Kingpin right now. Come on, what's going through your head?
Well, what's going through my head right now when you guys were all talking, I said when you were talking about introducing Netflix guys and like the whole cosmic street level thing, it's like, what's going to unify everything? It's going to be Cosmic Punisher. He's gonna like come in there and he's gonna be on.
Don't get our hopes up. That shit would be amazing if they did that.
He's cosmic. He's street level. He's like everything. He could like tie everything together. And the only thing that gets me, and this is just side note, is like they're gonna mess with his logo now. I don't know if you guys saw that. They're gonna change up.
I think it's with the storyline, because if you look at when he's coming out, it looks like that he's with the hand.
Yeah,
because those are red ninjas that are with him.
It looks weird. Like someone was like, "Oh, he became like when did he become a Mandalorian? Like, what's going on?"
I have my theory why they're playing with the logo, but I'll save that for off the air. But go ahead, Paul.
Sorry, I don't mean to change the subject.
I was gonna say, man, think of all the cop cars they have to redecorate now.
Exactly.
Oh shit!
But just
shit. What did I miss?
Just to change the subject real quick.
The show's over. The show's over.
Just so we can change the subject, maybe another 12, 13 times. I don't know.
But wait till you get to fucking Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, right. No, so the question I had about Kingpin though is why in the world does Hawkeye Why is he afraid of Kingpin? Why is he like, oh, the big guy's involved? Oh,
He probably knows how connected he is and how he has his hands in everything, because even in the comics, Kingpin was feared even by Cap. He's fought with many other Marvel heroes. He's known as a philanthropist because he has that image that that image to hide all his dealings. He's always been a threat, whether it's street level or whether it gets into other stuff. Go, Alex.
So here's my theory that I've been working on. We all know in the comics, Ronin was was Hawkeye. That's one of the mantles. He was one of the people at it. But also in the comics, he's with Mockingbird, who was a former SHIELD agent. My speculation is that Kingpin knows the dirt on Laura, and I'm wondering if they're going to make Laura the new Mockingbird.
We talked about that last week. That's an interesting theory. It's really possible.
Well, interesting fact is that Laura was introduced in the Ultimate Comics, but she didn't have the Mockingbird mantle. And it was in the Ultimate Comics that Hawkeye's family was pretty much murdered in front of him.
Yeah, and that he became the bullseye. Yeah, because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of those crazy things in the comics. But
I don't know. I got a reason why Hawkeye's afraid of him.
I mean, he also doesn't have the Avengers to back his ass up. So,
I mean, he probably saw him smash that dude's head in the door,
in the car door.
Hell yeah. I mean, listen, you fighting all these aliens and shit. They're not as brutal as that guy was.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
That'll be interesting
Everyone
conversation.
is, as Thanos is, efficient in the way they kill people.
Also, a random side bit I heard in an interview with Jeremy Renner. Someone did the math and said the Avengers are 7-0 with in fights with Hawkeye on their side and a part of the team.
Yep.
The Avengers are 0-4 when Hawkeye is not there or when they're fighting against Hawkeye. Someone did the math, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
It's true though.
Renner brings it to the table.
Wow.
Hawkeye, he brings.
Hawkeye's
something.
that dude.
So how much time
gets it. That clutch support. You always need one.
Yeah.
So now we have the reveal, because we all already speculated that she was working. It was Kate's mom. So now that's all out the open. So do you guys also think that Kingpin is in league with Val, since essentially they're the ones who hired Black Widow?
That's the question that I've been asking since those reveals, because I think we talked about it last time. We don't think Kingpin has the reach to reach Val, but it can work the other way around, where Val has the reach to reach Kingpin. Mm-hmm. Why she would need Kingpin is beyond me. But and I know we brought it up in the meeting yesterday, with Kate's mom. Essentially, her company could be something like, I know they're just like low levels security, whatever the case is, but I feel like they're leaning towards making this a Roxxon. I feel like they might be leaning towards making this a Roxxon kind of company.
I honestly think they're just like another agency that might have ties to like former Hydra or one of the many, 3-letter, alphabet names of like some espionage thing.
I think Sebastian, didn't you say
recruitment,
yesterday?
because
right.
The company is a security agency, and if you remember, Kate was accessing some of the files to look up somebody that they were looking for. And if you really think about it, Kingpin's all about recruiting people, and one of the things he could be a front man for Val to be recruiting people. It could be a lot of stuff that's leading into that. I mean, I want to get Pong and Jerel your thoughts on that idea. Who wants to go first? Here we go.
Yeah. So is it just me, or does anyone else think that Jack's arrest was totally a setup?
Oh yeah, totally.
That seemed way too like planned and like I'll be fine.
They're on opposite sides of the room. It's like arrests. Here we are. It's just like it was.
Yeah, they waited for that to happen. If it was like a real arrest, they may have run into him outside.
Right. Yeah.
I think all that stuff was staged for because again, these guys are street level, so I'm assuming they're involved in some way with Kingpin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like his cuffs are going to be off by the time he gets into the elevator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to follow up on what Law said, the whole thing with Val and the Kingpin and that whole relationship. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna like quote something from I don't know, one of those Harrison Ford movies when he was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say plausible denial. That's what it was. It's plausible denial. She can be on this, she can be on this upper echelons of like because Val is supposed to be like Nick Fury. She's supposed to be that big in the in the Marvel Comics universe. And so I guess with her interaction with the Kingpin, she can kind of like say, hey, I'm gonna wreak havoc on the street level. I'll just give all that jazz to like Kingpin. He can do his own thing. I don't know. The whole MCU is an oyster right now. You could go in so many different directions and then just claim it to the multiverse and it fix everything, So.
Goddamn fucking onion. It's an onion with layers. That's what it is. Fucking Shrek.
It's an ogre.
Or parfait.
Parfait, yeah.
Parfait.
Or parfait.
I love parfait.
Buffet, parfait, yeah.
So what do you guys think we're gonna end with Hawkeye next week? I mean,
I was really glad.
Where does this? What does his swan song look like?
Even if it is, and it's not just a setup for season 2.
Nakatomi Towers is going to get blown up. That's what's going to happen at the end of
30 Rock is going to be his version of Nakamori Tower. That's what it's going to be.
Exactly.
See that?
You're gonna see somebody get thrown from the top of a building going, and it's that's what's going to happen.
If he doesn't throw hands with Kingpin, I want my money back.
I don't
You think he's going to give Kingpin the smoke?
I just want it tomorrow.
Yeah. Kingpin is not showing up in this. I don't think so.
I think he's gonna show.
You don't think so?
We're only gonna get him in a half-ass cam footage.
Nah,
I
don't
doubt
think so.
it.
I think it'll be like maybe an end credits thing that'll tie into Echo, but I don't see Kingpin showing up. I don't think so. I could be. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong.
I was glad that they did the photo of him at the very end. Oh, it's the Kingpin, and they ended the episode that way. Because I was really afraid that they were going to end the season that way. That's why I was saying, last week. I was like, I hope they don't just like, oh, hey, look, it's a picture of Kingpin, everybody. Okay, bye.
What? Yeah.
Picture of Kingpin in his trademark white suit.
Yes.
Let's be that one.
With the
When I was a boy.
I don't know. My speculation is the final fight is probably going to be between Yelena and Hawkeye.
And getting.
I think that might be the first 20 minutes. I honestly think that fight's going to happen early, and it's going to get cleared up, and then they're going to realize that like they have to go for Kazi and they have to go for Kingpin and Kate's mom.
I feel like it's going to be a setup for Maya's series because it's already confirmed Echo's getting her series.
Yeah,
there's going to be a setup for her series where Kingpin's most likely going to be set up as the big bad. This was just a tease to one, introduce Echo, and to again reintroduce Kingpin into the MCU.
Yeah, because the thread that has to close is Hawkeye and Ronin and Yelena. That is the circle and it needs to end.
And the passing of the torch to Cage.
Right. Right.
All right. My thoughts on what's going to happen is that all the major players are going to be a rooftop scene, and they're all going to be lined up. And Kate's going to do that coin thing where she like flips it and she like kills the Kingpin. He falls off the building, which looks like Nakatomi Towers. And Hawkeye goes home to his family, and then it ends with going back to the Broadway show to watch I Can Do This All Day. I think that's what's going to happen. That's going to be the end. I'm putting money on it. Right now,
don't do it, Jerel. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you try to waste money, just give it to one of us. We love to take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got my PayPal on this thing.
We're gonna NFT this episode, so that way we can all make some money off this. That's what's gonna.
Oh no!
I think it might be dope if she does like the quarter trick and like engages the sword while it's in Jack's pocket. And he gets stabbed.
He doesn't have the sword anymore. Hawkeye took the sword.
I forgot about that.
That was a lame thing too. Going back to that other episode, it's like, hey, swordsman, I'm going to, I'm going to confront the supposed intruder in my house with the sword that I stole from an illegal auction.
Yeah,
And
that
by
was
the way, it's my most prized possession, so I'm just gonna prop it up against the wall.
But it shows how
he's
cocky he is.
he's a rich dude. He's
It
a
shows how
center. He
cocky
can
he
do
is.
whatever the fuck he wants.
That's his most prized possession. He like, I got Ronin's sword, and
It don't
if
matter.
If he's the swordsman, it's like this is like getting X-Men issue #1.
Rich people gonna rich.
Right next to me. So I guess so.
Yeah,
I
there you
don't.
go.
I don't
That's
have
the
rich
hashtag.
people problems. I don't know how to react to that. So.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna close out with Hawkeye now. We're gonna do a something we normally never do. We're gonna do a quick intermission. I got a little quick, like 5-minute tunes to play for you guys, so we can all go take our breaks. Alex, we want to thank you for joining us in this first hour as the Christmas creature, one and only.
We'll plug Alex and have Alex do any plugs that he wants to do and whatnot, and then we'll close out.
Pong.
Are you
Super
staying
fast.
for Are you staying for Spidey?
Oh, I'm staying for Spite for sure.
Okay.
No, so super last thing. Do you know why Yelena went out the window backwards? You know why she fell over backwards?
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why Yolanda fell out backwards.
Because if she would have fallen forward, she just would have been on the floor of the freaking apartment, and that would have been stupid.
On that note.
Wow.
I deserve that.
It's fine.
We'll plug away. Let's get Alex get that plug real quick.
Yeah,
plug away.
Check me out. I'm 1/3 of WaywardRaven.com. We're doing an anthology. We're still open for submissions. Please go to WaywardRaven.com. Give us your ideas. We'd love to work together with everyone on the audience. And you can check me out at ASAP Can Draw. I'm the illustrator of DamnHeroes.com. And keep an eye out because we're going to be dropping some new shit after the new year.
There you go.
But hopefully won't be blitz while
just before we break, and just to let everyone know who's going to be hanging out with us in hour 2. This is it's going to be a spoilers full review. I now have a new Tony Stark is dead. I'm excited to use. I'm excited to use it because Tony Stark has died. He died so much in What If it lost its luster.
So now you have a new one?
I have a new one, and I'm excited to bring it out. So again, I'm letting you know if you're hanging out with us in hour 2. I would love for everyone to hang out and throw it in the chat and jive on with us. Exactly like Aurella's new year, new you. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. So we're coming in hot after the break, talking spoilers for Spider-Man.
You have been warned.
So those of you who are just listening to the podcast, we're gonna close out. We'll catch you guys later. Say goodbye to Alex.
Merry Christmas, Alex. Merry Christmas, Alex.
I'm glad everyone who's listening to this and not watching is enjoying my outfit.
Seabass, take us out.
All right, ready? You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play the intermission video. You guys enjoy the tune. Everyone, bathroom break, 5 minutes. We'll be back right now. Alex, peace. Merry Christmas.
Dude.
There we go. It's a club banger for the
I
day.
had my glow
Man.
sticks, and I was going after it, man.
I feel like I was in at a club during college.
Oh yeah.
And nothing but regret. White claws. There you go.
Mhm.
Anyway, we're in hour 2 because it is the special Nerds edition for Christmas cheer. I do not have Coquito with me tonight.
I wish. Oh man, don't even
I
get
have-
started.
I have water and I finished a croissant, so that's what I have.
I have
The-
water and I made another hot pocket.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So
I haven't had a hot pocket.
wait, before we get into that,
Right?
So we are in hour 2, so we know what we're talking about. So Tone gets to debut his new spoiler warning.
Ooh, here we go.
Oh man, we are discussing Spider-Man: No Way Home, and the experience that we all have collectively had in watching this film was existential. If I don't have any other words to say, there will be spoilers afoot. We will be discussing everything that happened in this 2.5-hour movie. Nothing is safe, and your boy has found a new spoiler warning to let you know how serious we are about spoilers in our conversation tonight about Spider-Man: No Way Home. For all of our past fellow nerds of the round that join us, you know that my spoiler warning is Tony Stark has died. But Marvel has decided to take that away from me because it's grown too powerful in the multiverse. Someone else has passed because of this movie. Someone else who has left the mantle of responsibility to Spider-Man, Peter Parker himself. It is not Uncle Ben, for it was just he wasn't there. Ladies and gentlemen, Aunt May has died. You have been spoiled. Let's get this going. We are talking everything. Matt Murdock showed up.
Wow.
Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire showed up, although the worst kept secrets in Hollywood of all time, because we all knew they were there.
Right.
We knew they were CGI'd out in that awesome scene in the trailer. We all were like, yeah, there's like 2 more Spider-Men showing up. But guys,
my nose is bleeding. Oh, oh God.
Wow.
it's
That's it.
2021. Aunt May has died. That is the spoiler warning. Let us go.
Damn.
All right, the show can end now. The show can end.
That's it. That's all it was. It was just for that. It was just
Mic
for that.
drop. Do your mic drop. Let's get
All right.
just
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Yep. Oh, have a good night, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Merry Christmas.
That's what it was, guys. Oh my
How do you
god.
follow that up?
Well,
Okay.
let's take things off how we should. We had a lot of expectations. We knew Spider-Man was going to come in. We knew, a bunch of, stuff was going to happen with like slight ties to other universes. But one of the biggest ones, I don't know if it was just me, but I was losing my mind within the first 10 minutes. Who did we get? But fucking Daredevil. Oh my god, I was so fucking hyped.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably the loudest person in that fucking theater.
I was in the theater.
Yo,
Out here
Tone was
catching bricks.
so hyped.
Barehanded.
Yo,
He pops up, and I start punching Seabass in the arm.
yes, bro.
Boy.
Yeah.
Bro,
Bro, my
with-
girlfriend's hand, I'm shaking the chair. Like, let's fucking go.
My arm's still sore because I'm like, yo. I'm like, yo. It's funny because Bear's sitting in the middle. He's like, what? Like, it was
He's
hilarious.
like, who's that? I'm like,
I'm
that's
also a
Daredevil
really
kid.
good lawyer.
Yeah.
Yo, let's just talk about the catch. How did you guys feel about the catch when he did?
Yeah.
The catch was amazing.
It was such a
my
flex.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Because
It was so-
Because he did it because he was like, I could let this go and not show my hand. It was like,
Yeah.
it was so good because I think at the same time Peter also had that like sense of like spider sense, like, oh, I should like move or do something, and just I got this, and everyone's just like, are we gonna address what the fuck is happening?
aren't you, sir? Aren't you blind?
Right?
I don't mean to presume your disability, but aren't you blind?
I absolutely loved how they just threw it at you. There was no build up like, oh, I'm gonna call my lawyer. Like it was just like all of a sudden, boom, cold cut. Here's Daredevil coming at you. I thought that was great. Like I also yelled out loud in the theater. I did not punch my wife, so that's a good thing.
Oh my God!
It's Daredevil. He was ready to catch it.
It's like that meme. It's that meme of Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
No, it's you want to know what it was fun getting to see it with your boy, watch the movie, but it also was fun too when Tone came with his reaction when you told him Mahershala Ali Blade was at the end of Eternals, because it's like it's that geek moment and it's like this is what we've all been waiting for, and it just when you see, because we're all just like same thing, it's like dude, like holy fuck.
It's just
but
a
it's
little nuggets.
The timing of having Spider-Man drop the same week and drop Daredevil with the same week that we get fucking Kingpin, like the full reveal, not just the voice. Come on, that was fucking good job, Marvel. Good job.
So I want to ask you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So, well, all right. I'm still not convinced. When it comes out on Disney Plus, I'm gonna have to watch that. Watch the whole movie slow.
There's a problem with that. It might not come on Disney Plus only because it's still a Sony property.
God damn it!
Oh,
dude.
It's why the three Spider-Man. It's why the other two Spider-Man are on there.
The noobs had to be told why it was so epic.
So
I mean,
what I was gonna
yeah.
where I was going with it, wherever it ends up at eventually, because it's gonna be somewhere. I gotta watch it on slow because I'm still not convinced that Deadpool wasn't in it. Somewhere.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, it was. What you saw was actually Howard the Duck. You didn't see Deadpool. Howard the Duck was in that movie. If you blink, it's like that whole scene in Fight Club where Brad Pitt is splicing in excerpts of different movies. Howard the Duck was in the movie.
It was Howard and Darcy Duck.
Well, you know Howard the Duck was in Infinity War, right?
He was.
Yeah, he was.
Or actually, Endgame.
He was in Endgame.
Endgame, yes.
Yeah, he was in Endgame.
Yeah.
He got portaled in for the final battle.
So I want to pose this question. I want everybody to think about this question. So we in the first hour we touched up like we know Kingpin, and yes, Yolanda Vega was in it too. Thank you, Dave. She was reading lotto numbers. Yeah, Deadpool threw the brick. That's who it was. Deadpool threw the brick.
Maybe
he's like, I'm in this movie too. Whee!
I have to go back. If it was written in crayon and really shitty handwriting, then it probably wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
So we know that Hawkeye confirmed that the Kingpin wasn't blipped out. Do you think Matt Murdock was blipped out?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't.
No.
Yeah, no. So the only reason why is yes, the Kingpin was allowed to grow and like become who he is, like what we see him now in Hawkeye, but I don't think it's more so because Matt let him, more so than Matt wanted to take him down, but not as Daredevil. He wanted to take him down as Matt Murdock, and to do that, he was going to need to take time as a lawyer, like to get him in like racketeering and all the other stuff that he can get him for will take that many years to do.
Well, I'm going to say that Kingpin, if we go back to when the whole Daredevil series ended and where the Kingpin was at, let's just say that Kingpin is the puppet master. He's the guy behind the scenes, so he could actually, Matt could continue to do his like lawyer shtick, and then the Kingpin just lays low and sort of does his own thing, and empowers all these other like groups to like do his bidding. So he can be under the radar, under Matt's radar. I don't know, it's a bad joke, but anyway, it's a sort of like he can kind of like do his thing in the shadows. And I think we'll probably see that. We'll probably see the explanation of where Matt was, where the Kingpin was during the whole like blipping, sequence. So really cool to see that.
Yeah, isn't he showing up soon? He's showing up in She-Hulk, or
yeah, he is. He's going to show up in She-Hulk.
Yeah, what they're saying in the rumor, the yellow costume is what I think they were saying.
Really?
That was the rumor.
No shit.
Yeah,
they're rumoring the yellow costume.
That's not going to stand out at all.
I gotta look this up now.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Pong's gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? And listen, Matt Murray is blind. He's making his costume yellow and all that. Dude, you're supposed to. Yeah, no, but the yellow costume, the classic yellow costume. But
no.
Yeah.
Let's just say this is a foreshadowing because speaking of classic costumes, we'll talk about that at the end. If you get what I'm throwing up there.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So. But I'm gonna say, like, before we get into the nitty gritty of stuff, I just want to say that, like, you guys, it's like I watched this movie and I like laughed, I cried, I let out yelps of joy. You know, it was just, I mean, I had to look around and say, I'm not crying, you're crying. You know, it was one of those moments. And you know what? I was avoiding all the spoilers. And when people were saying this movie like rivals Endgame, I was like, whatever. It can't top that. And you know, the first few minutes, I was like, oh, this is just like, I'm gonna say that I enjoyed the first two Holland movies, you know, as Spidey, but it didn't feel as like connected to the MCU as I would like it to be. And it almost felt like some of the connectivity was like afterthoughts. You know, like, let's throw in the stuff to do it. This movie though, oh my God. It's just like, not only did it feel like it was connected to the MCU, it was connected to the multiverse. And it was like, we were talking about getting feels like back to 2012, 2007. We're going back to like Tobey Maguire days.
2000.
You know? Yeah, 2000. And I never felt so like, you know, just so elated, so happy, so joyous, like coming out of that movie. Yeah. Oh, something happened.
Not me.
Anyway, it was a good feeling.
That's suspicious.
Yeah.
If I did, I would have been like this, but you know, look, you're back. There we go.
All right. Anyway, so
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I mean, you know, just to kind of give the overall thoughts. It's kind of crazy because we don't really get like the standalone Marvel movies get their moments where it's just like these oh shit moments or these really like, but it's really the ensemble movies where we're all in it of like what is happening, right? Like, so the Avengers movies, even Civil War, because Civil War is literally Avengers light, and then Infinity War and Endgame, and then for them to come in with this Spider-Man movie, knowing like we knew Doctor Strange was in it, we kind of knew the other two Spider-Men were going to be it, we knew all of these villains were going to be in it, but just seeing it happen on screen. And how it worked and how it paid off. And the fact that it wasn't just Spider-Man's 1 and 2 just showing up to save the day. Like they had legitimate moments.
Story arcs. They had story arcs.
They finished or they fleshed out things from movies that you know. It was just like, holy.
Well, before we get into their arcs, because we got a lot to talk about their arcs, because their arcs were phenomenal. What I want to touch up on is just something brief. Because there's one of the end credit scenes, and this is just something brief we could touch up on, is the fact that Sony's Venom was briefly now in the MCU, but it wasn't about the fact that he was in the MCU. It's the little nugget that he left behind. And
well, that's post credits.
Yeah, but how do you guys feel now that the symbiote...
Did you give your thoughts on the movie yet? Because I want everybody to give their unbridled thoughts on this, because it's like we can take our time, we can fully digest and really dig our teeth into this one.
Oh, I'm good. I think it was fantastic. You know, other than an absence of Deadpool, it was like anything I could have possibly asked for. It was really good. Yeah, loved it.
Okay. I was here for it. I think in the beginning there was parts of it that seemed like weaker on story. I was like, and then like it just pulled itself together in such a nice bow at the end. Yeah. And I was here for it. So to Jerel's point of crying, I had to stop myself from crying because I didn't want to miss anything. Like that's how bad it was. I was like,
I cried out of one eye so that the other eye could like focus.
I was like, I don't want to be like, I have to see and like take in every moment. But Dave had a thought. If Marvel can successfully save the Spider-Man franchise by incorporating the inconsistencies and failures of the reboots as if it was all planned and they saved the atrocities of Fantastic Four, it might warrant a Nobel Prize. Dr. Zoom deserves.
Well, the Fantastic Four is coming. The Fantastic Four is coming.
And fun fact, I believe the director of the Spider-Man is doing Fantastic Four.
Ooh, interesting.
I'd be here for it.
Yep.
So back to the symbiote. How do you guys feel now that the symbiote, who we haven't heard from in the MCU, is now in play?
Who's taking that one first? Okay,
I'll
go
go.
for it.
I think he should officially be known from this moment forward as Little Nugget
Little
from
Little
what,
Nugget.
Sebastian was the Nugget.
Little
The
nugget.
little nugget.
I love
Little
it.
nugget.
I fucking
Little
love
nugget.
it. Not the
So
little nugget. Oh shit.
so the other thing that I was gonna say, I completely forgot not Spawn.
Deadpool.
Damn it.
Deadpool.
Venom being in the movie. I was actually kind of hoping that Venom would actually meet Spider-Man or something like that, but I assume that's probably coming to another.
Well,
movie
I think
soon.
because we're gonna be getting this universe's like Eddie Brock is probably what they're gonna give us. I think the Venom that we have in Sony, because I enjoy Tom Hardy and I enjoy what they're doing with him. I just don't think that Venom in that capacity in their story arc, what they're trying to accomplish, works in the MCU.
It's definitely leaving it open so they can recast. And it always bothered me that Venom never had the white spider.
Yes, thank you.
And then, but the whole thing, the larger thing about this is because I haven't watched Carnage. I didn't watch.
It's awful.
I was going to tell him to watch it.
I know it's great.
I fucking hated it. It was only good for the finale.
I was
the credit scene when they bring him in for Peter Parker. That's it.
where one of my friends at Comics Cast, the latest addition to our team, plug for Vic Medina, who's our latest Comics Cast family member. But anyway, he told me about that scene, right? And it was foreshadowing, obviously, to this. It was like an end credit scene that foreshadowed to another end credit scene. And I was like, because I hadn't seen it, so when I saw the end credit scene, I was like, who is that guy? I didn't even recognize Tom Hardy. And he's in a Hawaiian shirt with a hat, and then it wasn't until Venom started talking to him that I started like, oh, it's him. And the thing is, though, Doctor Strange set it up. This was like a big plot hole for me. Doctor Strange said, like, the people that are coming into our universe are people that knew Peter Parker or was Peter Parker themselves. And so how does Venom know that? Okay, Law, follow up on that.
You need to watch the movie.
Oh, so it explains it?
So
go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Having not watched it, the movie explains that because the symbiote is a hive mind that stretches across the universe, they know, and it's kind of true. Like in the
plot
comics,
fix, multiverse.
I mean,
that's what they do.
It does make sense, and I think it is true to some level with the comics. I wouldn't know, but I feel like it's somewhat true to the comics. So that's kind of why.
Gotcha.
Connects to Topher.
Right. But also with the Eddie Brock thing, like, I was glad that he just showed up for like that brief little like, oh shit, he was here, but he didn't really show up. And like left the symbiote, because I feel like, again, to Jerel's point, we needed the full on, thing. But I don't want to see the symbiote for like 2 movies. You know what I mean? I want us to know that it's there, but I don't need him going black suit just yet. Let him go through college. Let him, I want to see him go through the beats of, teaming up with Daredevil, doing the street level stuff, being friendly neighborhood, like truly friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. None of the Stark tech, just really him. You know what I mean?
That's why they're
and building up from there. Right. Yeah. And building up from there, and then
there's 3 movies and possibly cameos.
Yeah. So he has. I think he has Tom Holland in his current contract. I think has one more cameo.
But he has. I think they inked a trilogy, a new trilogy, don't they?
I don't know if he inked. No, because the producer had to walk that back because they did say they were doing something. He had 3 full movies and he has one more cameo, and he hasn't done the cameo yet, so he's gonna show up. We don't know when he's gonna show up.
I got you.
And also, like, Tom Holland's been going on this press tour saying he wants to retire, he wants to be behind the screen, he wants to have kids. And Zendaya's looking at him like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I have a whole career. I got shows to produce. I got movies to make.
And Dune 4 and 5 and 6.
I got Dune Part 2, so people can be like, I was actually in the movie.
3, 4, 5.
Anyway, so I think we are getting a new trilogy, whether that's going to be with Tom, whether we're going to get Miles or whoever the hell we're going to get. But to Law's point, I know we're like really stuck in the symbiote. It's only like 1 fucking minute. You know, but to Law's point, I do think like we should have like a movie of him in the streets and potentially doing the photos of Spider-Man because no one knows who Peter Parker is anymore. And knowing who, and they cast Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock is a character, and like they've got like their own maybe like instead of it being like a antagonistic rivalry, it's just a professional rivalry. And they kind of like go off of each other. Second movie comes in, he has that conflict with the suit, and he gets the symbiote. Then third movie with Venom, and like give Venom like a real fucking arc, like a real thing, you know.
So let's go down the creme de la creme that's in the room. So we're going to talk about the 2 Spider-Man, but I want to tackle Toby first. And the only reason I want to tackle Toby first because Toby, again, it was great seeing again Toby don the suit of Spider-Man because he was the one who started with the Spider-Man movies. So it was a great love for the character and everything. And it's kind of cool hearing that, him dropping the hints that he's a father now in his universe. But I love the fact, and I just, I want you guys to weigh in on this. I love the fact that his Spider-Man was kind of added in there as the moral support for Andrew and Tom's Spider-Man when it came time to be that moral support, because he's a dad, he went through it, and in a way he was a much wiser Spider-Man to me. Like listen,
I think he's had more skin in the game. Like he's been there for longer, so he had the experiences and the like test of being Spider-Man and living a life of duality of being both Peter Parker and Spider-Man longer than the other two, for sure, longer than our Tom Holland. But I think for Andrew, he probably only got taken into this universe a handful of years. For us, for the Tobey Maguire Peter, he got taken away like 10 years at least afterwards. It sounded like a good amount of time has passed after we see the credits of part 3 for him.
So that's the thing about where we pick up where Andrew and Toby get picked up from, because we don't we know it happens for the villains like before they die, because that's their like, or at some point, because they have points in the movie where you can pick them up.
Nexus point.
But I don't know if we're, because it just feels like Toby's age, and so we see him, but I don't know if it's like 10 years or if it's literally like 2023 or 2022 or whatever. Like it's just them now, and the MCU can then do whatever they want to fill in that gap. So Toby had a great life. He has MJ, he's potentially has kids, and he's figuring it out. Andrew Garfield didn't. I'm presuming he did not meet MJ, and he has not gotten over what happened with Gwen, and that's what we get when he says, "I don't pull my punches anymore."
Right.
And like he's going through that trauma
now,
like that whole time, like that whole gap between when that movie came out to now. The MC's like his whole. It can be whatever we want, and we're gonna be like, we've got a Spider-Man who knows who he is. We have a Spider-Man who's trying to get through a dark place, and we have our new Spider-Man who is fulfilling his origin story in this trilogy.
Right.
And what can they do for each other? Andrew gets the support he never had. Toby's able to provide mentorship in a way that he got from his Uncle Ben, and he's providing that. And Tom Holland is he's just going through it, and he needed someone to talk to because the person he needed most, Tony Stark, was not there, and Aunt May had died, and everyone was. So I think they all kind of fulfill something for each other, but I don't know if they're being pulled directly after the movies or a little bit. I think it's like the furthest point in time we're pulling you. The villains just happen to be when they passed or something, because that's it.
There's another thing though that Andrew Garfield is getting out of this though. He's finally getting a chance to redo his biggest mistake.
Yes.
Right? He caught the girl this time. He caught her. So he's like, look, I screwed up on mine, but I got this one. I
did everyone like have their heart in their fucking throat? Because you see fucking Tom, you see Tom go. He's like, all right, bet I'm gonna go, and just goes and gets taken away, and we're like, oh my god, please let this be Andrew's moment. Like I was fucking shitting a brick. Like, please let Andrew, please don't let him fuck this up. Like, oh, my heart was breaking that entire run.
Yeah, even them telling him like, "You're amazing, man. You're amazing." I know it was like a riff of like it was the Amazing Spider-Man movie.
No, you're spectacular. No,
but, like,
you're amazing.
I was really hoping someone would say spectacular. I kind of was.
I was hoping.
I was hoping for it. But
Yeah,
the fact that he got that, he got it. He got that from his boys, from his brothers, right? And then he was also able to, in his eyes, redeem himself. And that scene between him and MJ, and she's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Are you okay?" And we're all like, "He's okay."
But you know what you guys just said is that it was a train, like a bullet train, and it just got faster and faster and better. Yeah, it's just like every moment just got topped by another moment and got topped by another moment, and it was just that whole. By the time it got to that end sequence, that whole battle, when you see the three of them, it's like, dude, we're not fighting as a team. And that line, that was one of the best lines.
Yeah.
All the Avengers.
Like, I'm an Avenger. And he goes, "That's great. What's an Avenger?"
That's twice a week.
I know, it was just it was everything that they put on the screen. I was like just eating it up. And it just made me, and that's what I don't know. I know that we're going to rip on like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, but you know, when I watched Star Wars, the last Jedi, when I watched J.J. Abrams do his last thing, I felt a similar high, but then the more I thought about it, like the story just started falling apart. This, I walked out of the movie with the biggest grin on my face, and every time I started thinking about the story, it just like, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's almost like
organic.
There's layers.
Yeah,
There's layers.
It felt like, it's like Kevin Feige, I don't know, or whoever wrote the screenplay. It's like, did you go back in time with the DeLorean and figure out, hey, how can I fix and complete all these story arcs?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the Spider-Man, it was the villains. Who give it up for Alfred Molina. And
all of them.
Willem Dafoe.
A lot of them picked up as if they never took off that villain suit. And you're just there like,
you could see
William Dafoe is a fucking treasure. I was watching Raimi Spider-Man 1 yesterday with the kids. And side note, God, Jesus, Kristen Dunst yells so much in that fucking movie. Like, I'm watching it, and I told my wife, and I'm like, "Yo, why does she yell so much?" Because I mean, it's to the time. It makes sense, but it's just like, I'm like, "Yo,
who's echoing?"
I don't know. Someone's echoing, but that yelling didn't help.
I don't know either, but it was great. I loved every bit of it. It was
No, it's so yeah. With Garfield, I feel that again, this was a redemption arc for him. The redemption arc was there, as we all saw him doing the catch, and it was a great way to kind of give him his third Spider-Man movie too, in a way.
Yeah.
But also it was a great way to close out his character. And again, I love when they're talking about the villains that they fought. That scene was funny. Where they're like, you fought a big purple dude in space. Like, dude, I can't get like you were in space, and then he goes, I fought a rhino. They're like, wait. He's like, I just fought a rhino. Like, but wait, you fought a rhino in a suit. Like, it was just funny with them talking all that.
All of that being organic, but it's the classic like what we see in films of like, you're the imposter, I'm the imposter. Who are we? Like, and you're trying to figure out like, okay, where do we match up? Where do we like? Where's that line of like? Okay, you're me up until this point, and then you go on your own separate path. That felt so fucking great to watch.
Yeah. It was really like, because they're all Peter, and they all have like his mind, but like their personalities and their journeys have just morphed them into three separate characters that mesh well together. And I mean, you can't even gush enough about it. Like, obviously, there are some, you can't gush enough about it. It's hard to do that, to do something and bring in these characters that have not touched them in years. Years, decades, maybe, right? And just throw them in and be like, hey, we got the original two Spider-Men in here, and you're gonna love them, and you're gonna be like, oh man, like, Sony, why?
I love the. Go ahead, Pong. Go ahead.
I think you might be about to say the thing I was about to say, but the other moment where someone else in the theater was yelled out when I saw it here in Vegas is when they're all in the lab and they're like, "Yo, but hey, Peter," and they all start doing pointing at each other like. I thought that was a great take on the Spider-Man meme, you know, where they're
Yeah.
pointing at different versions of themselves. I absolutely love that part.
I love when they were in Ned's house, and I was like, "Could you just get the spider webs off the wall?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they look at Toby like, wait, you shoot that out of your skin?
Yo,
Yeah.
they're just questioning like, is that like, where does
Is that
it
the only place?
Like,
It was funny. It just felt right. It was like, yeah, like they're all like brothers.
the
They're themselves brothers.
backtrack. I was like, oh yeah, like I got you. Don't worry. Like I go through the same thing or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
They paid so much like homage to like the movies themselves that they came from, because we see like I forgot which movie, like the first or the third or the second.
For Toby's back?
For Toby's back. When
It's
he
two.
falls. It's two. When
It's
he falls.
because he does on my back because he hurt himself on set. Yeah.
So all those things are like I loved it so fucking much. But can we go back? Because I think we jumped too far ahead when we got to the Spideys. We have to go back further than that and just jump into like this whole one, like give it up to like Zendaya, give it up to I always forget Ned's actor's name, but give it up to them for like being an amazing trio, like on and off set, because I think that chemistry played really well with each other. But like Aunt May, Mr. Tomei, and Happy, like that whole like dynamic in the beginning sold a lot of like the movie going forward, at least for me, because it made it that much more impactful when Pete started losing a lot of these things that he holds near and dear, because we see, you know, the importance of his friends. Now he doesn't have them in his life. We see the importance of obviously Aunt May, because we never got that Uncle Ben character. We know he existing. We know he was there, you know, amorphously in the background somewhere. But now we have this moment that's his Uncle Ben moment, you know? And then that final scene with Happy's the boy. Like Happy is like one of his, you know, best friends who is his connection to Tony. And now he doesn't even have that. It's like all those connections early on that we see and establish. And then even with Doctor Strange, let's not put it past where that, you know, you can call me Steven. It feels weird, but you can see the respect there for him. He's like, all right, I know you're a kid, but he's smart. He's smart enough to get out of mirror world and fucking the mirror dimension and use geometry. And then later on, when he's asking him to make the choice of like, I know what I have to do, Doctor Strange like has that moment like you can feel it and you can see it in him that he's just like, damn, this kid is really something special. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it follows up on the what if Doctor Strange, because the what if version of Doctor Strange, he couldn't do the decision that Peter could make. He was going to be selfish, and he was going to say, I'm going to go through all these different possibilities to find my true love. I mean, to rescue my true love.
Right.
And he's respecting, well, I don't know if this is obviously when they showed the reveal about Doctor Strange, the Madness video, I mean, the movie, it's like they talk about that more.
We're going to get into that for sure.
We're going to get that Sorcerer Supreme dark version of him. But it's really showing the respect that he has for him, because it's like, you know, you're able to make that decision that me, the Sorcerer Supreme, couldn't even do. You know, you're willing to like give up everything that people know about you to do this, you know. And I thought that was a heroic moment. I mean, there was so much goodness in this movie. I can't even, it's like you just went down there and we could name, you know, 100 more moments that are just really spectacular. See how you spectacular.
So, you know,
do you guys think we'll ever get an Oscorp, by the way, or something?
No, Oscorp doesn't. So according to Norman, Oscorp doesn't exist in the MCU.
What do you mean in general?
Like we'll never get it in the future at all.
The thing is, with like all these corporations though, like there's so many.
Yeah.
Like there's so many. So I feel like Marvel really has to cherry pick which big corporations are they going to have in New York City.
Right.
Like it's just there's too many to pick from, and I think they have to cherry pick who's going to be who, or maybe you base some of them in different. You go to California, you do whatever. But if it's so hard because like a lot of these characters have this backdrop, and I just think it'll take away from everything.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to build off of something Jerel said earlier. Sorry about that. Sorry for jumping in like that.
No,
but
go for it.
You mentioned how there's like, there's so many different layers to it and so many different callbacks to the older movies and all that. And it reminded me of Afterlife, Ghostbusters Afterlife. In that, oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, but
Go
I've
ahead,
heard
go ahead.
I know what scene you're talking about.
all
Go ahead, talk
of
about
my
it.
friends who are like huge Ghostbuster
Yeah.
nerds, they're like, it brought me to tears. It is the greatest like love
But
letter to.
but
a
I heard
Ghostbusters
that
fan.
Afterlife does the same thing. At the
Yeah,
end.
that's where I'm going. To me, I felt like Afterlife did the whole love letter to Ghostbusters as, it did it well, but that was it. But with Spider-Man, it did a love letter to the past Spider-Mans, but still told its own story at the same time. It wasn't just like, hey, remember this? Remember the Crunch Bar?
Right.
I like because this movie one was continuing a story and how Vic pointed out that now we got to see the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So my point with this is this: it was a great love letter to the past Spider-Man movies we had, to the past villains, which I want to get into. It was a great love letter to the Spider-Man franchise. It was boosting the current actor and storyline that we're getting with Spider-Man. The high school arc has closed out. Now we're getting into a new arc for Spider-Man, which I thought was really fantastic. Again, Andrew Garfield got his redemption. We got to see again, when I said that the moral high ground with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was when you saw that scene when Tom Holland Spider-Man was about to hit the Goblin with the glider, and he stepped in, and I was like, dude, it was just fantastically written, and this is why his character was there. I read somewhere that someone was like, oh, he was just phoning it in. Like, no, this was a beautiful story. This was like and again, like how some people say, I could see how a lot of people can be like, this was better than Endgame. It's at that quality level where you have those more drops, and you see those real moments where a superhero is flawed and where a superhero steps in and where they're bringing it back. I love Jamie Foxx's glow up as Electro because
Also,
they fucking gave him the new glow up.
To piggyback off what you said, Sebastian, it's also really good in comparison to Endgame because this feels like a movie in culmination with so many other movies.
But
this is like everything led to this movie and to this moment with those other franchises and with his own,
watch this
time in the universe.
But watch this. And to that point, when you read Marvel Comics, there was the Avengers storylines, there was the X-Men storylines, and then there was the Spider-Man storylines, and then there was the street level stuff. So it's like technically you felt like Marvel was 4, and then you had the cosmic stuff. So it's like Marvel was like 5 different universes in one. And when they all tied in together, and this is what we got because Spider-Man has such an expansive universe that it can be its own thing. It was felt like that in the comics. And that's why, again, you can make an Endgame type level movie, and they proved it with just Spider-Man stuff alone. But where Spider-Man also shines was, again, his connection with other Marvel characters, with Stephen Strange, which we saw. He got first introduced into the MCU was his connection in Civil War, and like when Captain America, had that little banter with him, "What's up, Queens?" When we did that and all that. That again, it's just all those things, and I think that's what made Tom Holland's Spider-Man stronger. But this movie wasn't about who was the stronger Spider-Man. This was about all 3 of them, and they all equally were just like, and like who said it in the comics? Justin didn't know how much Toby's meant to you, and it's the same thing. And it's just sad what happened with Andrew not getting the 3rd movie, but it's the same thing. You got that, and it was phenomenal. It was spectacular. It was awesome. I'm loving it.
I have to agree with you 100%, especially when you think that everybody kind of like maybe throws the 3rd Tobey Maguire movie into the trash pile. It's sort of like, because I don't even really think about that movie that much. In fact, when we had Green Goblin and we had Dr. Octopus, and you think about it, if there was going to be a villain, another villain that knew who Peter Parker was, it would have been that version of Venom that would have been in this movie, but he
right.
wasn't. But what I like about that is like, yeah, it's the continuation of their storylines. You know, you get to see the dark side. It's like Tobey Maguire was old man Spider-Man. You know, he was that person, and
Youth
I
pastor.
just everybody, yeah, and everybody like youth pastor, and everybody was like knocking like I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wait,
I knocked it, but it was good. I like it.
You just brought something to my head, Jar. When you just, do you guys think that this movie broke what I'm going to call the Spider-Man curse? And what I mean by the Spider-Man curse is that if you notice,
the third movie is always
well, yeah, and that when they start to introduce too many characters from Spider-Man, that it starts to go south, because in Andrew Garfield's the second Amazing Spider-Man,
oh my god, that like the second Andrew Garfield movie was like literally a fucking commercial.
Yeah, for the
you
next.
Know? It was just a commercial for Sinister Six, and then you end it with Rhino. Because to your point, Jerel, I didn't hate Andrew Garfield either. I enjoyed Tobey Maguire and I enjoyed Andrew Garfield. I felt that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was way more jokey and slick.
Yeah, the banter.
With the banter.
I think he was a better. We always had that.
Yeah, like the better Spider-Man, the better Peter Parker, and all of that. So it's great that they're able to do that. I mean, the MCU just does it so organically because they know who the fans are. They know that everyone's watching this stuff, and they're using the basic knowledge that you have and incorporating it in, and that's it. Where Amazing Spider-Man 2, we did horrible by Jamie Foxx, because Jamie Foxx is a fantastic actor, and you realize like how good he is in this. And then just be like, we're gonna throw in Sinister Six, and we're gonna have you walk by all of these tubes with all of the things. I'm like, why? Like, that's an end credits thing. Why? I don't need it. I don't need that. I just.
I'm gonna pull up some comments because
Justin's coming in.
Justin's been coming in hot today.
Oh, he is.
So many questions answered, so many things talked about. A hint towards Miles Morales. Talked about organic webs. So Daredevil is viable in the MCU, which means Punisher is here too. We hope. More John Berthenol.
Because John Berthenol's like, you ain't
Kevin Feige said he would bring the actor who played John Berthenol, the actress who played Jessica Jones, and he confirmed.
But John has like, y'all got to let me do the damn thing.
Yeah.
That was his take. He's like, he said, I'm not, because he loves the character so much,
right?
He won't come back for a watered down version of Punisher.
No, he won't.
Right.
He's like, I'm not doing it. I rather just stick to my Netflix.
There's no way to do it. Right. There's no way to do it.
But to Justin's comments,
Venom knows he was killed in another universe. I was hoping Venom would save the day, to be honest. Did you see Rhino and Scorpion in the sky? We did.
And Kraven was one of the figures too in the sky.
He was holding the spear. I noticed that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was holding the spear, and there was an animal next to him.
Yeah. It took me a second
because I eagle eyes. I didn't even see that. I was
looking at it because I saw it. I was like, I know they're gonna give us some nuggets in here. I'm like, I'm peeping them. Because when you have the emotions of a rock, you don't cry. You just kind of watch shit.
Oh my God.
So I was just paying attention and seeing what was going on.
One of my favorite things about this particular Spider outing is that they didn't Sony it up, and it seems like whenever Marvel and Sony work together, it's great. But in Venom, even in the first Venom, which was overall good, but at the end of it, there's Eminem rapping about Venom. Like okay, that just takes you out of the world. It's like, hey, here's another property that we own, everyone.
Right. I'm gonna push back a little bit, Pong, because I agree with you from one point of view. The other point of view is the gem that Sony put out, which was the Into the Spider-Verse, and this movie was the template. It took a template. It took some of the things that Into the Spider-Verse set up and said, you know what? We're gonna one up that. We're gonna take some of the story beats and we're gonna put it in here, and we're gonna come up with a totally. I mean, who didn't see Peter Benjamin Parker in from Into the Spider-Verse in the characters and Toby and Andrew? You got this. There was no Spider-Man Noir. There was no Peter Porker. There was no Spider-Gwen. But you got to see those same type of things, and that was a Sony success. That was Sony doing Spider-Man right. Yeah. And
that was Sony Animation doing Spider-Man right.
Yes, you're right. So
without executive input, without any of that, and letting the Vision be what they wanted it to be. Where with the movies,
Venom 2 felt like extended scenes from Venom 1. It kept the same pace and vibe, a literal continuation. Venom 3 has to bring the house and pull out the heartstring.
I hate Venom 2, man.
I don't know. So I'm gonna watch it.
I enjoyed
Woody
Harrelson
to say that I watched it, but
I enjoyed Woody Harrelson as Carnage. Like I will, I enjoyed him. I think he's just crazy enough to play a serial killer. Like I don't know.
He played a serial killer in Natural Born Killers.
No, but like I don't. But I'm like I don't know what this.
It's up his fucking alley.
I don't know what the Venom universe is doing.
Yeah,
I don't think the Sony universe knows what it's doing, because
they don't know what they're doing.
So they I know we're gonna talk about Morbius.
Yeah, we're doing Morbius. We're gonna get a Craven movie. We're getting all this nonsense, and I don't get it. Like if they want to stick to doing like they're doing Spider-Verse Part 2 and Part 3, y'all keep doing the animation movies.
Just give us the live action people. It doesn't make sense to do Craven and not bring him like toe to toe with Spider-Man.
Well,
Craven's a cool character, but it's like Craven doesn't make sense or
as
doesn't
a standalone movie.
Yeah, no one cares.
I don't want to watch Tarzan. I just like we know Spider-Man has like Batman's rogues gallery. Like I get it, but it's just like why are we giving these guys their own movies?
Dope, but it had the same fault as Joker. He fell in love.
Listen.
It's just like I'm like.
Well, I'm gonna jump on this topic because I was tossing this out there because it's just funny because Ned leads. Oh, Ned, we love you, brother. So Ned, I want to ask you guys: do you feel that this was foreshadowing? Because in the comics, Ned has been linked to the Hobgoblin, framed to be the Hobgoblin. Do you think that this is foreshadowing for down the line for Ned to become Hobgoblin, since now he doesn't know who Peter is anymore? And the glider there left in the MCU. He's going to MIT. So do you guys think that this is foreshadowing for Hobgoblin?
I 100%. Do not. I don't, because while he lost his memory of Peter Parker, he has his memory of using the sling ring. And Doctor Strange gave him that nod of approval, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. If it wasn't for the sling ring, I would have been like, yes, I'd be there with you, MIT and all that. And he also had and he had the conversation with Toby, and he was like, I killed my best friend. I'm like, I don't see it going down that route.
But let me ask you this.
But Pong was so I wanted to hear what Pong had to say.
But I'm gonna throw in that because and then we're gonna go to Pong. Do you think with them not remembering Peter Parker anymore, are they going to remember the events that they were with Peter?
Michelle, what's going on?
Michelle.
Actually, that's what I was just thinking of. Like, is Ned gonna go to Doctor Strange's house and be like, so hey, we were hanging out the other day, but why were we hanging out? What was the deal with that? How did we? How do we
exactly?
Well, like they have all the like they just. I think it's one of those things where like they just don't know Peter Parker, Spider-Man, but they know they helped Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like that's like the slate. Like it's just not going to be. I don't know Peter
knowing
Parker.
Who's the
I'm gonna say that it's not that clear, because that sequence at the end where Peter goes to the coffee shop, Ned doesn't know Zendaya or MJ. They don't know each other. So if they had that commonality,
no, they do.
They do.
No, they do.
No, they don't.
She gives them the donut.
And they talk. Yeah, they do.
No. I got the impression they didn't, because she goes. She notices that they don't know each other because they don't know each other's going to MIT. They don't have that same warm reception with each other. I got the impression
Peter was the commonality for them.
Commonality.
Maybe they might know each other from school.
Right. Right. But see, there's no connection in terms of like Ned would not be friends with. I don't think they would. To me, my impression is that they didn't know each other. But that's me. I don't know. I guess you guys thought they were. So
because she gave him the free donut. That's kind of what
Jerel was too busy crying.
That's what I got.
And to touch up on that, be happy. Yeah, the thing is that he never unmasked with the Avengers. The only person that kind of knew his identity it was an Endgame that he did unmask, that they saw him as it, but they're gonna remember Spider-Man. The spell wasn't for people to forget Spider-Man; it was to forget Peter Parker.
They also, someone theorized that there's a loophole that people, say, in the world or on the world or something like that are going to forget, but that doesn't count for people like Thor, Loki, and anyone else who are either cosmic beings or are beings off-world currently, like Captain Marvel,
Also-
as well, or Nick Fury.
Also, let's add to that loophole is again people to forget Peter Parker, but those who knew him as Spider-Man, mask or no mask, that's different. So is that a loophole that we gotta think about too?
Well, I'm just gonna say that if Ned and and MJ had that connection, then wouldn't they have that shared trauma? It's like, hey, thanks for the donut, man. That was really crazy. What happened at the Statue of Liberty? They didn't really have that.
Why were we at the Statue of Liberty? What was the
Yeah,
but I think that
Why were
happened
we there?
months later.
They
They were months down the line at that point.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they when
Was
they,
it snowing?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it
they
was
said it
snowing.
was like a couple months later that they met up and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Was
Yeah,
it
that's
snowing?
true.
Also,
Was it
let's
Christmas time?
let's point out how
Yeah.
Captain America has affected this world in terms of how much he's viewed as a hero that they were giving the Statue of Liberty now in Captain America Shield.
Yeah. that
First
was
in
kind of weird.
Hawkeye, we got the play. Now we get the shield on the Statue of Liberty.
And the play's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they actually mentioned the Statue of Liberty with the shield in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I forgot what the context was, but they did mention it.
Yelena said she
Yeah.
wanted to see the new shield. She wanted to see the new
Yes,
Statue of Liberty.
that's
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, I appreciate it, but I just thought it was kind of weird.
I think it's because it's because what Steve Rogers stood for was liberty. The symbol was liberty, and it was a unifying thing because he wasn't just fighting for America, he was fighting for freedom in general. And what he stood for. So he was viewed, it shows how much he's viewed as this iconic hero and how much the shield means to everybody. It's a symbol of freedom. That's why it's like when
Absolutely, he's remembered.
So that's why when that scene happened with John Walker and the blood on the shield, like, oh my God, this is a public fucking nightmare.
Sacrilege.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
again, it's a symbol of freedom. So whoever has that shield, it's like, dude, you got a fucking mantle, like a heavy fucking thing that you have to carry with you because of the weight of what that shield represented.
Absolutely.
I have another question going. If we're talking about the future of Spider-Man, because we're going to see them in college and what have you. We have the other thing with Flash Thompson. I don't really like this Flash Thompson personally. Like, he's not my dude. I like him, but I don't like this version of Flash.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? And like, would they? I hope they don't, but would they? Because we know Flash Thompson has been with the Venom symbiote. Would they go with him first, or with him at all?
Oh, him being Venom?
No.
Mistake.
Right.
That would be.
Well, he'd be.
He becomes a Venom.
Space Venom.
Right. He becomes.
Wait. Michelle put it in the comics. Bring it up, Law.
Hold on.
No, she said Agent Venom. Agent Venom.
Agent Venom.
Yeah,
Agent
Agent
Venom.
Venom,
Thank you.
because that's who Flash became.
I didn't know how far back
Flash became Agent Venom.
I don't think. I mean, we haven't had. I don't think we've had like what we saw Venom in the '90s cartoon. We have not gotten that on screen, and I think Marvel will
give us that.
Will give us something, and then you're not going to get rid of Venom just to get rid of him. You'll potentially get rid of the symbiote, and the symbiote will do what it does, and we'll use it for something else. But I think we're still gonna
the whole symbiote family.
Like,
give
give us the whole
upwards of-
family. But I think we got to get the arc. We got to get the black suit arc. We got to get him in. Like, we have to do it right. We have all this time in the world. Just do it right.
Do you think that we'd get black suit? Because if they are doing Hawkeye tying in with Daredevil and Spider-Man and eventually with Kingpin and Spider-Man going head to head like they normally have done in the past, are we going to get that classic comic where, even though we don't have Aunt May, where Kingpin orders a hit on Spider-Man, ends up hitting, let's say Ned or, someone else he cares about dearly, or MJ, and then him going to the prison, taking off the suit and just giving Kingpin the work. Do you guys have you seen that? Have you like seen that comic? Like,
Yeah,
so essentially, Kingpin orders a hit on Peter because he knows Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and Aunt May gets caught in the crossfire. So he rushes Aunt May to the hospital, then goes to the prison where Kingpin is, takes off the Venom suit, and just bitch slaps him like to Kingdom Come. And then he like takes his wrist, throws it in his mouth, and goes, "I can. It can take 3 seconds to fill your lungs up with spider fluid. If she dies, I'm coming back and I'm finishing you."
I don't think they're gonna.
Oh my
I don't
God.
think they're gonna
never do that.
They never do it.
Well, we already know Aunt May. In Tony's new spoiler warning, Aunt May's there. But Jerel Pong, I want you guys to get to weigh in on this one. How you guys feel that we now and just segueing into that, Aunt May taking over the Uncle Ben spot of delivering the line, "With great power comes great responsibility." And I mean, just for me, it was the fact that we see Aunt May in the first 2 movies. We see this connection he has because we haven't had Uncle Ben at all in this. And we already know that Peter 1 lost Tony Stark, and now 2, the way that Aunt May and then delivering that line. So I want you guys to weigh in on that.
Paul, go for it. You go first.
Oh, all right. Well, so I have a real problem with this. The only problem actually that I have with this movie is that nothing of value was accomplished the whole way through. Like because he failed in the very beginning. He didn't protect Aunt May. Aunt May died, and the just on that one scene specifically, someone else could have told him that with power comes responsibility. She didn't have to die. I was kind of liking. I got you. I hear you that he didn't. Yeah, but he could have gotten that from somewhere else. Did they have to kill Aunt May? It's just like using the death of a character as a plot device. I don't know. But it
was a bold move, Cotton.
It was a what?
It was a bold move, Cotton.
I'll go after Jerel.
Yeah, so that was my only complaint really about it, was that everybody that still died that he was doing all this to protect, I don't want to kill the Goblin, blah blah blah, but at the end of it they still send him back to the same universe, and he's still transported back to the moment before his freaking.
But he's no longer the Goblin anymore.
Right.
No, I don't think Goblin goes back right to when he gets hit. He gets shanked. I think he gets.
It gave him a heart attack.
Thank you.
That's why Uncle Ben's no longer in the picture.
Oh man, too hot to handle.
Go ahead.
Somebody call Life Alert.
You want me to go?
Go ahead and give your assessment, and I'll do the same thing after.
Okay. All right. So I think that Marvel threw us for Mulligan because we knew going in that the Uncle Ben thing happened prior. Kind of one of those things like, we've told you Uncle Ben died multiple times. Uncle Ben is dead. Mm-hmm. You're assuming he's had the conversation of with great power comes great responsibility. We never said that. All we said was that Uncle Ben is dead. We don't know the relationship between Peter and Uncle Ben. And so we were like, all right, cool, whatever, makes sense. I'm here for it. I don't need to see this old man get shot again. I'm good with it. He's just Spider-Man. And then Tony dies. And then maybe you think that Tony is his Uncle Ben.
Mm-hmm. He is to a certain extent.
And to a certain extent, he is. Yeah. But it isn't until Aunt May dies and gives him that talk that he's able to get out of his feelings and have that conversation with the other 2 Spider-Men, who are the only people in the entire fucking world, in the universe, that could empathize with him in the multiverse, that could empathize with him and help and lift him up to get the job done. Yeah. And I am happy that they did the switch up. I'm happy that we weren't really expecting it, and we did it with Aunt May just to kind of be like, things happen in different universes, and it works for us as viewers because we got 3 fucking movies with her.
Yeah.
She didn't die in the first movie or whoever. So we got three movies with Marissa Tomei. And we're like, yeah, Aunt May's awesome. It's Marissa Tomei, my cousin Vinny. I'm here for it.
Yep.
And then you take her off the map, and you're like, oh shit.
The meme going around now that Joe Pesci was Uncle Ben.
Yeah, it's the full arc.
That was the fun
it's the
thing.
Full
is that
arc that he needed. Like he needed it.
Wasn't there like a sequence where they even like referenced Marissa Tomei's like past movies? You know, they were talking about about my cousin Vinny. I think maybe I made that up, but in terms, I kind of remember something. But anyway, the whole thing about Aunt May.
Aunt May. Oh my god.
Yeah. I think that it was brilliant. I don't know if they were planning that. I mean, it's if Kevin Feige planned to like axe Aunt May and make her the Uncle Ben moment for the third installment of the movie, that's totally brilliant. I don't know how he could have predicted that, but it makes sense because Andrew Garfield's character, his whole big trauma was more Gwen. And they talk about everybody's experiencing their own loss. And again, this is template from like the Into the Spider-Verse. Everybody experiences their own. It's like a trigger moment that allows them to evolve to that next level. And this was such a much more MCU relevant impact factor that it made that moment, this movie, it made sense. It fit completely in there. And just leading up to that moment, I just want to say one more thing about the Spider-Man. And I had this talk with with Vic Medina yesterday. Isn't it awesome how this version of Spider-Man, when you heard Andrew Garfield talk about how he doesn't pull punches anymore. You saw in this thing, the fighting was brutal. The fighting choreography was brutal. If anything, the Green Goblin was a little bit OP. He was like, he was like pushing him through floors, like not just one floor, two floors.
He power bombed him through a floor.
To be fair, I feel like the Goblin was the Goblin that we should have seen because Goblin, when he gets
it enhanced him.
It enhanced him a lot. Yeah.
But the thing about about Holland Spider-Man, it was like the Spider-Man from the Spider-Man video game. He was using his webs to do all sorts of like special moves. Whether it was like slingshotting or like, doing like knee maneuvers on people. It was like WWF, Spider-Man style. He was just doing all sorts of crazy acrobatics and then using
this is the most creative we've seen them use like these Spider-Man. Also, someone pointed out that they kept all three when you see that epic moment of them all swinging off and like they're in unison now. Each one of them has their own signature swing from their respective universes and movies,
and their hero landing too.
Yes, which I think was really dope.
So let's get into the villains because Green Goblin, William Dafoe, he did kill it.
How do you
we got the accurate Goblin look too with the outfit.
Yes.
It was just like, how do you top what you did X amount of years ago?
Yeah. Like, mind you, that version of like him wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Alfred, all it was everyone remembers Doc Ock and him fight in that movie being one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. But that Green Goblin was still amazing. How the fuck he did that is beyond me.
And like Willem Dafoe, man, like, and he's talking about it, and like all the things you hear about him saying, I'm only doing this if I get to do my own stunts.
Right.
It was just, it was so cool to see that all these actors they brought back were in it, and they put their all into it. Like you haven't touched these characters in forever. Like Jamie Foxx, like you're getting your glow up to be to be Electro again, and even like the Lizard was kind of a layaway, whatever. And Sandman, well, he was Sandman, whatever. Alfred Molina coming back, and then
so good.
Just that whole scene when he comes back from the bridge and him talking to him and the banter back and forth, and then him getting his self back, and you see it, like you see the switch from when we first see Alfred Molina in the beginning of Spider-Man 2 when he's joking.
That's what you can see, but it's true. No. True. Disney money.
Disney money.
And that mouse money.
And then Defoe just coming in and killing it, and really just switching, playing off like this man who's broken and in trouble, and then switching off to Green Goblin and his like split personality. It was I like you can't do this. You can't. This movie doesn't work if those villains don't work.
Yeah. Also, the way they play off each other, like it wasn't even so much like a Sinister Six, less of like just the acknowledgement of like Octavius and Norman was fucking. He was like, you died. Like once you saw Doc Ock putting the pieces together, like, oh, we died, I died, like whatever the case is, and he was like, yeah, this guy. He's like, Norman Osborn is a ghost. You're fighting a ghost. And then you see them, right? And then you see him, like you start seeing those interactions with everybody. Oh, Jesus, it was so good. Like Lizard was okay, like to Tone's point, you know. Sandman I enjoyed in the beginning. I wish they kind of like
you didn't need too much with Sandman, and Lizard didn't have too much. I feel like
Lizard was there to acknowledge Electro. That was it.
Yeah,
that was it. And I think Sandman's heel turn I thought was kind of stupid.
He didn't heel turn. He was like, he said it. He trusted Spider-Man.
But you're not my
Spider-Man. Then he goes, you're not my Spider-Man. He's like, I just want to go home to my daughter. He wasn't trusting Tom Spider-Man. It was Toby Spider-Man he trusted. Because remember, his whole attitude changed. Yes, the Peter Tingle was awesome. But Pong, Jerel, I want to get your guys' thoughts on these villains, like the way how they got betrayed. Because I guess looking at how Doc Ock, they all got to, I felt like this was a great redemption arc and a great way to close out all those villains' arcs. And all these actors get to reprise those roles. How did you guys feel? We'll start. Wait, we know Jerel wants to be last, so Pong, we'll start with you.
Yes, please. Give us a true Sinister Six.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like they will give a true Sinister Six, because like I said, you know, I think Sony is the dog that caught the car. They're like, oh wait, we own Spider-Man. Oh, you know, and they're starting to learn how to actually do it right, to a degree.
Wow.
Jamie's male pattern baldness.
Wow. Oh, CPAS is just done. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Dave, go to bed, Dave.
Dave, it's past your bedtime.
But go ahead, Pong.
Yeah. Overall, I loved the villains. It was fantastic seeing them all come back again and reprise their role. And you know, like you guys were saying, it's you know, absolutely wonderful seeing Willem Dafoe, you know, come back and just chew up the scenery again, just like he did, you know, what, 20 years ago now, something like that.
Basically.
Yeah.
Jerel.
Yeah, I think if you think about the brilliance of the screenwriters for this, you know, you're bringing back the Sinister. You're gonna create the Sinister Six, but they aren't the Sinister Six. So like, they don't know. They've never fought with each other. They're from freaking other multi-universes. So what I enjoyed about it is that, hey, we're gonna give, that's fan service. We're gonna give you these guys, but I like how they wove them together. Like they're just the banter they have between the two of them. Like Jamie Foxx he didn't have that many lines, but they were like Boba Fett one-liners. He would just like say something that would just totally like you know, steal the moment when he would deliver a line. And then what I like about it is that they all came to like they're all coming to their own realization about like, I'm in this another universe now. They still maintain their whole identity from past movies. The only one that was a little bit I didn't quite get. I know that Jamie Foxx probably was the reason why he controlled it, is because he said, I don't want to come back as the blue guy, and you know, I want to come back. I want to look like me. I don't want to look like the geek version. And I think that it just showed that the writing, the time they put into it, it really showed how you can put together, you know, a good story, and even though it has like so many facets from the past, and still make it make sense. And so it was really, really good. And I want to say that only Jim Carrey has muscles in his face that, or actually only Willem Dafoe has better facial control of all these really muscles on his face, because you would stare at Willem Dafoe and it's like, how does your face do that? It's just like you could literally see like, hey, this is the crazy version, and this is like, I'm like the bewildered hobo version. It's like you basically can see that whole transition. And Doc Ock, I want to say Doc Ock.
He does. I think they confirmed like he does know Peter, but at a later point.
Are we talking about Willem Dafoe or Doc Ock?
No, Electro.
Vic brought up Electro.
Yeah.
How did Electro come through if you didn't know who Peter was? I think they explained it.
His look. That's the thing that I didn't get. Like, he's no longer, especially if he gets reconstituted through a power line. You think he'd be more like the blue version, not like, look like flesh and blood.
I think he was they explained it pretty well, because they said that he came through with this universe and he felt that the energy was different.
Yeah.
So the energy that he was taking from this universe was affecting his body differently.
Okay. Did anybody get the Whiplash vibe?
Like 2023 Electric Grid? It was way better than whatever Electric Grid they had.
It's better for your skin.
What I really love though about this whole, even I think aside from like the script, like how they were able to incorporate some of the cheesiness from the other movies. Where like, he got his way because he fell into a vat of eels.
Electric eels.
Yeah.
Like, that'll do it to you.
He was like,
every time.
It's like, don't fall, man. Don't fall.
Yeah.
They were so casual about it. Like, that seems rough, buddy.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Watch your step, or you become a villain, because you'll fall into something and become a villain. That's what. That's the moral of the story right there.
Yeah.
So we could talk about, because again, I think and again, Vic did bring up a good point again, and like, how did he know? He probably just knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, but he was like, I thought he probably didn't see him unmasked. He just knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man because of, again, working with Harry Osborn, who was the Green Goblin in that movie. Yeah. But let's touch up on Doctor Strange before we get hung up on the villains, because we're going, man.
I wanted to say that Seabass, you brought up something last week, I think, when I brought up the Vulture, and they were like, oh, he wouldn't go after Peter because he saved them and whatever the case is. He does not now know that Peter is Spider-Man, so he can hate Spider-Man all over again.
And then get the Scorpion.
And get Scorpion.
Yeah.
So let's put it out there before I forgot.
That was actually a good one. And then before we jump to your thing, also aside from the cheesiness of like the vat of eels, but also incorporating the iconic lines from the previous movies, and it doesn't feel off.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
I was smiling ear to ear when he fucking said it.
Okay. Wait. Let's before we go to the Doctor Strange part. Did anybody else find it was absurd that, hey, I got like this, I got the, I guess MacGuffin, or is it the Deus Ex? I can't remember what it is. I got the Stark tech that can fabricate everything in Happy's apartment. Okay, but then when they figure out, thanks to Aunt May and her, her moment of brilliance before she passes away, she grabs whatever residual like Stark tech that gets smashed, destroyed in a sack. And then they go to the that must be the best equipped high school in all of New York, because they're able to fabricate like cures all in this high school. Like,
I feel like that's like iconic Spider-Man. Like, he's done
that's
miracles in less with less. Like, so it just speaks true to.
It showcased each individual Spider-Man on where they were good at, like Spider-Man's part.
No, Michelle, don't do it.
All right, what were you saying, Sebastian?
No, because in the comics, and because again, Parker made his own web fluid. He was brilliant. They always showcased that, and what that was doing was that it took away the crutch of Stark technology.
Yeah. I guess
it was back to homage to how people forget Peter Parker is smart. He's not just some kid randomly taking photography and all that. He's an intelligent dude.
Falls to Venom when it turns to Batman.
Well, no. You turn into a villain, so you would turn to Jeff Bezos.
We are now going to dub Kimbo and call him Kimbo Bezos. There you go.
Oh no!
I'm gonna turn into Elon Musk, and that way I can go fight super aliens in outer space.
All right, Jerel Musk.
Jerel Musk.
But yeah, let's talk about Doctor Strange. So we know because on a technicality, Doctor Strange
not
blipped
the
out.
Sorcerer Supreme.
He is not the Sorcerer Supreme. It is our karaoke man Wong who's taking on the Abomination and everything. So again, let's talk about Doctor Strange in this movie. And Gerald, we'll let you lead in with this one because you keep passing the torch, bro. You gotta take it now.
Okay, what was the question? What do we think about
With Doctor Strange and now Wong as the Sorcerer Supreme?
Paying attention like he's paying attention to The Witcher.
I was too busy doing my sling ring impersonation. But yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He
Wingleding slapped you back, I think.
Wong is level Avengers level threat, and Wong is just like that. That seems like a personal problem. Oh man, that's crazy.
But anyway, Doctor Strange. I feel like he only has his one movie under his belt, but we feel like he's had many movies because besides the What If the What If series, fleshing out more of his character, but you see his cameos in all the other movies. It's like, I just can't wait to see where they go with it. And it was so neat to see his other, his snarky personality and, his, when he's a doctor of his caliber, the crazy all safe though. Yes.
He's like, yeah, be safe. I gotta go make this money in fights.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Wong has that insatiable appetite. He has to go out and afford those New York deli sandwiches. So he has to go fight in illegal, dark internet fights to finance his eating.
But to your point, go back to your point. Yeah,
I was just gonna say that I love what they're doing with Doctor Strange. They keep on building on his power set and how he is Sorcerer Supreme, even though he's not in name anymore because Wong is. But I just like how he is really shaping up to be that Omega level character, that we know from the comic book. And it'd be neat to see if they're gonna go do that. What was the the coming together of all the brilliant minds of the MCU? They had Professor X, had Doctor Strange, it had Namor,
Illuminati.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to go down that route.
That they could, but it just wouldn't have a lot of the original people in it.
Yeah,
because you can still have the Namor, you can still have Mr. Fantastic, you can still there can still be the possibility of having it, but it may not be exactly the same original iteration.
It'll take them at least 5 years to get around to that.
Yeah, for sure. Shaping up, bro. He's there because What If went there.
Yeah,
but we're gonna
get that.
No. But to Kimbo's point for the What If though, that Doctor Strange spent centuries sucking up knowledge.
Also, too,
you have to stun the other Doctor Strange in that movie. That's what
but you have to think about it like this: is he there to fight Doctor Strange, or is he there to help? Because when we saw at the end of What If, and when we saw him, he was helping and realized the errors of his ways of what happened, even though he's still trying to control the monsters in him.
What If happened before that Multiverse of Madness happens before What If?
I think it happened after. What If happened before?
Because What If is happening right after Loki, and all this shit happens with Spider-Man after the multiverse splits.
Okay.
Well, plus when we see the trailer, it's sort of we see that dark version of Strange who has that blue cast to him, and he looks like the What If version. So
I don't know.
The question becomes he got out. What happened to that Ultron? Why did he get out? Is the Watcher letting him just chill and whatever? There's so many questions where that Doctor Strange, where we last saw him, and where we see a glimpse of him in this after post-credit scene. Also,
it's the astral version. He was able to get out of his body and leave, you can control that. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Someone made a point that when they said in WandaVision that you are now stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme, they meant Wong. It was actually not Doctor Strange or Steven.
Yep.
Hold on. We got because that's a Doctor Strange Supreme appears in the trailer.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what if version of Ultron.
We would.
My baby Wanda's coming back.
So I just have to ask this in regards to that because it's been confirmed that Doctor Strange is doing some research to add more cameos for introducing more people to the MCU and bringing back familiar faces because it's the multiverse of madness.
Captain America's coming back.
So I would not be remiss,
like all the what if characters I feel like are in play.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a glimpse, if it not in like the end credits, but somewhere in Doctor Strange, we saw Moon Knight. I'm putting that one out there because I would not put it past because they've had interactions in the past. But the other one, which would be really interesting if they did decide to bring him back, which why not? Give us Ghost Rider.
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
I mean,
Siren Head.
We don't necessarily need it to be cosmic, but
Cyclops. Cyclops.
Nah, if you saw that end credit scene, like Wanda, it didn't seem like Wanda and Strange were on like opposing sides. So we kept theorizing that Wanda was going to be the villain of that. Yeah. It doesn't seem like that's mentioned. Cyclops. Watch Jerel giggle like a schoolgirl. I'm giggling now. What you mean?
I think
Moon Knight is getting a show.
Moon Knight is getting a show. And I think
Moonlight's getting a show. I believe they're going to be introducing vampires. Mahershala is going to be in it, and the speculation is that Ethan Hawke will be Dracula.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that you were asking me about Doctor Strange earlier. I think that the attitude that she had in the post credit scene was pretty much like, oh, my boss is here. I guess I'm getting talking to. All right.
I know. In her
man, I'm sorry. I screwed up.
She expected to meet him at some point, but I don't think she expected to meet him at like at a point of like needing help. Like she thought she was going to get a slap on the wrist or like get in trouble.
Get talking to, yeah.
Well, they showed two versions of Wanda. They showed the astral version of her reading that big book, the book of whatever, and then you see the Wanda who's in white, who's the one who's interacting.
Well, he alluded that she knows more about the multiverse than he does.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows you how powerful Wanda has become in the MCU.
Yeah.
Well, also because of what we saw in WandaVision with her hearing the echoes of her children, of her having talked with Agatha about some level of multiverse and whatever the case is, it's all going to be out there. Keep in mind.
Yeah. I mean, the Darkhold could be like where we're getting our villain from.
Nothing good comes from that. Well, so are we guessing that because we said it about what if that Simagaroth is going to be.
So what's funny about that is that the Lego sets are saying it's Gargantua. I think that's his name, Gargantua or Gar something, and everyone's saying it's Sumagor. Yes, so everyone assumes Sumagorath, but then the Lego sets that got leaked saying it's Gargantua because they both kind of look the same. That's what I've been seeing.
Now, here's the final question that I have for you guys, because again, this leads into the whole thing. So, Morbius is coming out. Oh, we got a lot. It has to be Schumann. So, Morbius is coming out, and we're still unclear. Yeah, America Chavez is supposed to be in.
Interesting.
She's supposed to be in Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. So, Morbius is supposed to be coming out, and we know for a fact that what's his face? Michael Keaton appears in the trailer.
Yep.
So it begs the question: is he going to be in the MCU or is he going to be in Sony's Marvel universe? And what do you guys think?
It's going to be Sony's.
Who, just Morbius?
Well, because that whole Michael Keaton cameo, because we know Keaton plays Vulture, and Vulture's in the MCU. His character's in the MCU. He's not in the Sonyverse.
Mm.
I'm surprised how much those games end up lining
wait a
up.
minute.
True.
I'm gonna chime in.
And we're getting vampires coming. So go ahead. Go ahead, Jerel.
Let me just throw this out there. And again, I'm going to credit my partner at Comics Cast, Vic Medina, who thought about this idea. If you go back and watch the trailer, he said there's a sequence where Morbius is in the alley, and there's a poster in the background which has Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man there.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like, and then they had the Vulture. So it's sort of like, this is Sony
And Tom Holland.
groundwork.
So you have
Kind of
Tom
like
Holland.
say, it's a multiverse thing. You
Yeah,
know, they could put
and
him
the
in there if
Daily
they want to.
Bugle
They
is
could-
from
yeah.
Andrews.
Right, they can put him in there, or they can. I think it's just like they're playing it safe. They can make him come in there in the universe. They can make him not be in the universe. Yeah. So Blade versus Morbius. I agree.
Yeah, Kimbo's got an interesting point there. Sony's Marvel Universe and MCU mixing together. I do think that it really seems like they've got a pretty solid agreement between them and Sony. Like, you know, that they're well, yeah, of course. Yeah, like, and you know, I go back to Sony's the dog that caught the car, and they want to figure out what the hell to do with it. You
What's the
know,
car?
and Marvel's like, the car is Spider-Man. Yeah,
I know.
like,
I'm just saying, he's like, what is the car? What do we do with it? It's like,
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I got it. What, you know, sitting there with a bumper in his mouth. What do I do now? You know,
Yeah.
and Marvel's like, okay, all right, here, look, we're gonna pile money on top of you. Just let us use these characters from time to time. And they're like,
Yeah.
hey, money. That's the thing I like. Yeah, let's do that.
It's like, don't you like money? Like, just,
Oh, I love money.
We'll give you money. You'll get whatever credit for people going
Yeah.
to see the movie. You
Yeah.
just don't fucking touch it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So I find it funny that Sony started to like do their own Marvel or to do their own like Sony cinematic universe
Yeah.
in like a fit of like, oh, if we can't have them, or you guys don't want to share, like fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. And they had Venom, and they're doing Morbius and doing a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
But now with MCU doing a lot of the multiverse stuff, they're like, all right, you guys can fuck around and do whatever the fuck you want, Sony. Like, do whatever you want. But every once in a while, you guys have to do something well enough that we can bring it over this way. And we can kind of toss something over that way.
Right.
But
I think it's the multiverse solution. Sony can do whatever they want, and we can pull their characters, we can do our own thing, and we can just chalk it up to be the multiverse. And
Right.
I think the hardest thing was to get the audience to buy into it so they wouldn't be confused. And I think now they've established this whole multi-universe thing. So
I think
now
so.
the audience can kind of appreciate this is Sony's version, this is Disney's version, and we can all get along because we can all get Disney money and just get rich.
Bring back up. Sorry, Joe. Bring back up Vic's question. We don't know just yet. I think there's a big question mark on it because Keaton appears in the trailer, and we know Michael Keaton plays the Vulture in Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So the big question is he in the MCU? And we do know that he did go to the Spider-Man premiere, which would have been interesting if he made an appearance in the movie, but he didn't. I guess it was just one of those mulligans. He's just going there to just enjoy the movie.
yeah, show support.
But we won't know until Morbius actually comes out. We know Venom now is in the MCU just by that little he dropped the nugget.
You said Tom Holland's contracted
That sounds so
for
bad. He
one
dropped the
more
nugget.
cameo.
he's
contracted
for one more cameo. But
Does
I
that
know,
mean in the MCU or just
I
cameo?
think no. I think what Sony's allowing him to do is one more cameo in the MCU. Now I remember when they were bringing up the talks and everything that the idea was that Tom Holland can switch back and forth. I don't know how true that is now, but I remember listening to something and they said it was 3 movies and a couple cameos. He got his 3 movies and he got his Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and he has one more cameo to go.
Yep.
And then that'll be it. But I think it's a cameo in I think in
a TV show.
in a TV show or movie property. But I don't think it's Sony related because Sony can still do whatever they want with Spider-Man. But then Marvel's would be like, we're just chalking it up that it's not ours. So like,
That reminds me, I keep dancing around this, but I just want to go ahead and say it real quick. It is important to note that Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. At the end of the movie, it's winter. What time of the year is it in Hawkeye?
Right. There's a very good chance that it could be that he could just pop up in Hawkeye. That would be perfect.
Oh, look, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah. I don't know. I would imagine if they're going to do it, they'll probably do it right. I don't think it's going to be like, hey, did you see Spider-Man? Oh, he was just here 5 seconds. Oh, you just missed him.
Just missed him.
That was like the second season of S.H.I.E.L.D., of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, oh, Thor was just here, man. He was right there.
Just missed him, dude. No, but I don't know. It's been a while. It's funny, and this is not about also DC versus Marvel properties, but I'm gonna fucking say it. It is.
Okay.
DC's biggest villain has been Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers doesn't know what to do with the properties. They swing and then they miss with some, and they swing and they hit a home run with some. But for what I feel, what's been happening with Marvel and then Sony now reaching across the aisle, Marvel has been hitting fucking home runs.
We are going to get mutants. We don't know how.
No, we don't know how soon, and I feel
Wanda's going to bring the mutants.
Well, here's the thing. Thank you for bringing that up, Jerel. If you guys go back to WandaVision. Again, they hinted at mutants when Agatha looked into Wanda's past and was trying to find out how she got her powers. It was always like before they got the rights to mutants, it was always like that she got the powers from one of the what's it called? The stones. But then Agatha Harkness confirmed that Wanda already had the powers. Yeah, I think that House of them may be on one of the things that's up there. We don't know what Marvel has in store because a lot now that since Kevin Feige was able to deliver that series all the way up until Avengers Endgame, they gave him full control of everything Marvel TV and movie related. So now we're going to that's why we're getting all the shows, which to help expand what they're doing. And there's an actor that's appearing in a lot of Marvel movies coming up, and he's also going to be in Secret Invasion. And I don't know if he's playing a Skrull that's linking all these movies together because you have Armor Wars, Secret Invasion. We don't know what's happening with Black Panther because of all the things going on behind there, the rumors and everything. And we got the Marvels, and we don't know where the Eternals is going to lead because Eternals show that there's a story still continuing with that. And then Shang-Chi, the way it ended was that the rings that he has is calling out someone. Rumors is as a Galactus, so we don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening with the Marvel movies.
I heard a rumor that M'Baku was going to be the new Black Panther.
That's one of the possibilities.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
That Scarlet Witch, what's going to happen when she brings the mutants? She's going to fall into a vat of something, and it's going to bring all the mutants into existence. I'm saying it right here. You guys can quote me. That's what's going to happen.
If it doesn't happen, Jerel buys us all sandwiches from Tony Baloney's.
Mephisto.
You got to bring mine to me.
Sorry. It's all Mephisto's fault. Yeah.
Listen, my wallet already knows I lost that bet, so but they were good fucking sandwiches.
I want a T-bone that whatever that sandwich with the bone from the steak sticking out of it. I still have dreams about that. I'm like, wow, I got to go to New York, and when I see you guys on the Nerds, we're going to go straight to the deal. I'll buy all of you guys a sandwich like that. We'll all go there.
Well, say less.
Well, new announcement. So we're going to be invading Pong show on the 7th. That's right, Pong. On the 7th. It's either on the 7th. We'll see because we're going to confirm it to either the 7th or we'll be there the 14th. We'll let you guys know because we it's content building. But no, this has been a fun episode. I mean, I think this is our longest historic episode for Nerds.
Yeah, longest live episode.
So next week, what was it? We're talking Witcher. We're bringing back Pong.
Season finale.
Jerel, are you going to finish The Witcher?
Oh, well, I will.
We don't know if you're coming back. Are you going to be able to come back?
Yeah, I'm gonna. After this show is over, I'm gonna go back to The Witcher because Tone made me feel that bad.
He shamed you. he has that effect on people. He has that effect.
But yeah, I'm gonna be traveling, but I will make it a point to drive back Tuesday, my 6-hour drive back, because I will make it back to do your show.
Good God, man.
day. So
You
I will
don't
do
have
that
to, but we
because I
love you
love
so
you
much
guys
for
so
it.
Wait. We're gonna have the B team back on next week. We're gonna have Pong, Jerel, and Alex introduce the show.
Michelle said, Jerel, I too want a sandwich.
I am so serious though. I want to see you guys in New York once this whole COVID stuff.
Yes, please.
I'm hoping it
Yeah.
just blows over. I want to see you guys in New York, and I want to go visit Pong in Vegas. I
Hell yeah.
I
Hell
think
yeah.
it's the meeting of minds. It's our Illuminati. We may be the B team, but we're going to do our own Illuminati. And
Let's
do
it.
Yeah.
So give you guys the plug. Plug your shows away, please. Come on.
Who wants to go first?
Jerel can go first.
Jerel, I was gonna pull you anyways.
All right. Okay. So me first. I'm Jerel. I'm with Comics Cast. If you didn't get to watch our year-end show, please look it up on YouTube, on Facebook. On Facebook, we're just Comics Cast. On YouTube, it's Indie Comics Cast. And if you watch our year-end show, you get to know the lowdown of what we're planning for 2022. Hashtag more to do in 2022. We want you to check it out because we got big plans. We, Joe Tolliver, my partner, and Vic Medina, the latest addition to our family. We got like a digital indie comics platform that we want to launch by next summer. But we have all sorts of print projects and all sorts of like little surprises to unite the indie community. And you're putting me on the spot and I can't remember my pitch, but I just want to let you guys know that Merry Christmas to all of you. I cherish all of you guys, and nothing but love for the nerds, and so thankful to be here to geek out with you guys.
We love you too, buddy. Oh,
Right
always love. Pong, you're up.
All right. Well, so if you liked hearing what I had to say and you were like, hey, I wonder if that guy does stuff with electronics and like a lot of video gear, or maybe even has robot fights. I wonder if that guy does robot fights. The answer is yes, believe it or not. And if you want to see something like that, if you're like, man, where could I possibly see something like that? Well, the answer is right there in chat. It's twitch.tv/SinShop. That's the place to go for that. And if you're like, well, damn, that sounds pretty cool. When can I go see that? You can do it every Monday and every Friday night at that address, twitch.tv/SinShop. And that's at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we do shows talking about robot fights. We do shows talking about video production. And someone reassembled a trumpet last night. My partner Titans, he reassembled a trumpet. I swear to God. And we're gonna have Tone from across the hall. He's gonna come on. He's gonna repair kids' toys. It's gonna be a hoot and a holler, guaranteed, or your money lost. But yeah, you can check that out at twitch.tv/SinShop. Yeah, the answer, Michelle Turner is right. She's on top of it. The answer is yes. So at any rate, yeah, twitch.tv/SinShop. And I am, of course, the Mighty Pong. And check us out right over there. The end.
Well done.
Woo,
Well
that
done.
was well done. Well done.
Thank
Awesome.
you guys
Thank you.
for being
Thank
on.
you.
We love and appreciate you guys. We love and appreciate you guys for sticking with us. You guys,
We got
stuck
5
with us.
people watching for
Yo.
almost 3 hours.
Love you guys. Oh man,
Listen,
love and appreciate you guys.
We
so
want to
much.
wish you guys happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, happy
whole-
Hanukkah, happy
whole
holidays. Again, you guys enjoy the weekend.
Mhm.
Have a safe weekend.
Yep.
And again, thank you for tuning in and join us because we are
We're sorry
we
about
are
lying
adding.
about this being our last show for the year.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are adding one more
Whatever.
for next year. We're gonna finish
Right,
this
yeah.
up next
Oh,
next
darn.
week.
I
We're
mean,
bringing back everybody.
I mean, are we really taking a break because Boba Fett starts the 29th and what? Are we taking the next week off and not talking about Fett? I don't know. Are we
I'm
ever
busy.
getting a break?
I did 3 weeks in a row, guys. By that point, I
Who knows?
got my own problems.
I'm with Pong. I need a
Pong,
break.
we got our own show.
I was
Oh,
like, I
come
got
on,
no-
Pong. We're
got
the
my own
B
damn
team. We
show.
can take over the nerds. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
So the three of us are gonna take a break. You guys can take over the show. Thanks. You guys should know how it runs and
See,
stuff.
like
It's
Pong's
easy.
thinking about that. He's like, "Fuck."
I mean,
I don't. I love Pong, but part of me doesn't trust him enough because he's a madman. He's gonna do some crazy shit. We're gonna come back and be like,
They change the intro. They do a whole different thing, you know?
"Yo,
Oh, no.
I wouldn't put it past Pong. I wouldn't put it past Pong.
No.
But
You can't.
Alex is gonna be the ringleader.
It's like this. Here's how you know that I would never do that. There's one rule in all of my music production years is the one rule is thou shalt not fuck with the Humpty Dance. The Humpty Dance is perfect. You don't need to sample it. You don't need to remake it. You don't need to redo it. Leave the Humpty Dance alone. This show is the Humpty Dance.
We'll be glad to see you, Michelle. Pong
Yeah,
and I will do robot fights. Bet.
There you go. No, it's actually the team from one of the teams on BattleBots from Jackpot. Vegas Combat Robotics is the people that are putting on the fight. We're just broadcasting it, and so yeah, definitely check it out. It's good stuff.
Hot stuff.
Yeah.
All the things happening.
Getting hot tub.
You guys have a beautiful night. I gotta go dog to go walk. You guys have a beautiful night. We love
Take
you
us
all.
away, Seabass. With,
Wait, we're gonna play that beautiful bean footage. Say it slow.
It's your boy.
It's your boy Sebastian.
We haven't done that in so long. Come
Your
on,
boy
you gotta
Sebastian.
be on it. It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
Someone say, take away to that beautiful bean footage. Come on.
Release Navidad.
Roll that
Come on, please.
footage.
There we go.
Speaking